app.
A setback for the president's big, beautiful bill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The package of tax breaks and spending cuts has just failed to pass the House Budget Committee, with 5 Republicans voting against it. Some concerned about debt, as the bill makes the 2017 tax cuts permanent.
They argue that the savings are not deep enough, and they don't like that work mandates for Medicaid are delayed for years. They're sniping between moderates and conservatives. Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Democrats say the bill would benefit the rich while cutting health and food benefits. The committee chair sending members home for the weekend, hoping to try again Monday. Iran's foreign minister says his country has not received any written proposals from the U.S. Hours after President Trump said Iran has a proposal. He's pushing to end the country's nuclear program. But Iran's foreign minister also says they won't abandon what he calls a hard-earned right to enrich uranium for peaceful purposes. Israel again targeting Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen with strikes on 2 ports they say are used for weapons transfers. They're also intensifying strikes in Gaza.
The Israeli Air Force struck 100 targets, including anti-tank missile posts, terrorist cells, military structures, and operational centers. Hamas officials claim more than 100 people have been killed in these strikes. As President Trump left Abu Dhabi, he said, "We're looking at Gaza, that a lot of bad things are going on, and that they've got to get that taken care of."
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The president's 3-nation swing in the Middle East did not include a stop in Israel. A manhunt in New Orleans after a jailbreak.
During a routine head count at 8:30 this morning, it was determined that several detainees were unaccounted for.
The Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson says 11 prisoners escaped, all adult males. 2 have since been recaptured with the help of state police. They haven't said exactly how the escape happened, but are vowing to hold accountable anyone who helped. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
All Pacific cool front moving in and setting the stage for scattered strong to severe thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon. Let's really pay attention to the skies. Some of these things could produce damaging winds and large hail. But it's all gone tonight. After 7 o'clock, we're clear. Clear skies overnight, windy and 59. Saturday, sunny, breezy, and cooler. 78. Sunday, partly sunny, 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law. pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country has become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he
well, he
wasn't
apologized
calling
because
for violence. But
look, he's a very bad.
What do you want to see happen?
What
do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing. And when you add his history to that, if he had a clean history, he doesn't. He's a dirty cop. He's a dirty cop. And if he had a clean history, I could understand if there was a leniency.
Imagine on January 6th that you have the ellipse full of people who showed up to hear President Trump deliver that speech. Imagine that as they made their way to the Capitol, some of them peacefully and patriotically, as President Trump said, imagine if those people stormed into the Capitol with signs that said 8646. You think that would be cited as a threat, an actual measurable threat to the current situation that the United States was facing at that time? I certainly do. The YouTube live chat poll for today: did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Friday to you. In about 13 minutes, we're going to take phone calls on this, and I want to hear from you how you feel about this 8647 photograph that was posted on Instagram by James Comey, and he just put this picture of 8647 in the sand that he says cool shell formation on my beach walk. What beach is he walking on? Where is this beach? I don't know that it's in America. Is it in America? Is it in the United States of America?
I have no idea. But the idea that he's just walking on a beach says a lot about where he's at in life right now.
For now. He's
for
gonna
now.
He's going to have to pay a visit to the authorities, it sounds like. We want to know from you what you think, if this was intentional. I titled today's show, Comey's Ope. Because that's the way he's reacting to this. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know. You led the top investigative department of the United States, and you're like, I didn't know. Shut up. Knock it off." I mean, some of us are dumb, but we're not that dumb. We know that you know. Did you take offense to that?
I did. Sorry.
None implied, but it's interesting that you did.
No, please.
Some of us are dumb. Hey. Ryan.
No, you're making your point. I just thought I'd interject to make sure that wasn't about me.
You have made it about you. Successfully made that about you. Not intentionally. Even the dumb ones, I think, understand what 86 means. I've heard several different explanations of where the genesis of 86 is. I've heard 8 feet deep. 8 feet long and 6 feet wide. That's how long you dig. That's how you dig a grave. But I also heard on Fox News this morning, they said that you're supposed to go 80 miles out and dig a grave 6 feet deep or something, and that's how you'd be executed.
I've never heard any of those things.
That's very detailed.
Yes, it is.
I've
heard 86 before.
8 feet long and 6 feet deep makes sense to me.
Yeah,
that would be about the right size. And so if you want to weigh in on this topic, if you think that James Comey was intentionally threatening the president, I'm going to unblock the phones right now, and you can call. We're going to take phone calls at about 12:20. We might break a little bit early if we start getting them rolling in. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. This seems like it could be much ado about nothing, but James Comey and his history of being adversarial to Donald Trump, the position of power that he's been in, and the things that he knows, to casually stumble across some seashells like this, to me, this falls into the category of he absolutely knows what he's doing, and he can too easily just be like, "Oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I didn't know," and in his mind get away with being able to do something like that, which is absolutely inciting.
I've seen leftist influencers saying, "Oh, you guys are reacting now, but you never said anything when your side was saying 86-46," to which I had to reply in my brain, I never heard that phrase, and we're pretty locked in on the right.
86-46?
86-46. I never saw that for 4 years.
Somewhere other than what I just said?
No.
I didn't say that happened.
Well, but the left is saying that happened.
I've seen people posting pictures of, what about these T-shirts that I found on Amazon that say 86-46 and stuff like that.
Were people mad about them?
No, I didn't even know they were existing, so I didn't have a reaction to it. But also, the proper counterpoint to that was this might have existed somewhere deep in the internet, somewhere on 4chan. This is the former head of the FBI saying this. So very, very different scenarios, especially considering none of us knew it was even around.
When he says, when James Comey, he didn't just see it and it wasn't brought up to him like, "Hey, did you see this?" It wasn't put upon him to be associated with this. He chose to associate himself with it. There is an element of thinking that has to happen before you post something on your social media. And if you're the former director of the FBI, and really top 10 persona non grata with this administration, you have to think significantly about what you post online. You have to think about the ramifications. I saw a post that suggested that Comey has a book coming out at the end of May.
Oh, that would make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he? I've also heard in reports on the way into work on Fox News that James Comey also stumbled across some seashells that said something about electing Kamala Harris.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
I don't walk on the beach enough.
Yeah, sometimes the shore,
I need guidance.
The moon, the way the tides go, that just happens.
Talking to you, man.
Yeah. Sometimes it's in sticks. Sometimes
Vicky
shells.
says there are 8646 bumper stickers you can still buy. So yes, it was out there.
News to me.
I don't think that the director of the FBI gets to get away with that type of a thing. If you see an 8646 bumper sticker, first of all, I don't care if you're saying 86, 45, 46, 47, 48. I'm hardcore judging you when you are like, I need to put that sticker on my car. I need people on my bumper to know this. Like, I would be judging you for that, but I'm not going to know your name. You don't have actual real life influence over me, or, I'm not going to be motivated. Like, you guys, I was coming from work and I saw a bumper sticker and I now choose to coexist. It was how clever. All the letters meant different things.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we were supposed to coexist and now it's like full-on acceptance or die?
Coexist
How
is
quickly
hostile.
that changed in our lifetime.
This is really interesting. I've never seen one of these before. Maybe you guys have, but Matthew online here says, my liberal uncle has an 8645 sticker on the back of his truck from Trump's first term.
I remember 8645 from his first term.
So this is out there. So it's a well-known thing that 86 means to knock off, to kill, to get rid of. I mean, it's not as if you could look at that and go, oh, it's just that's not really what that means. That's the interpretation.
To me, 86 means to rid.
Right.
But rid can mean multiple things, which is where if you're a voter out there and you're choosing to say 86, 45, 46, 47, I don't know that I am automatically going to associate that message with you wishing death upon that person. But I'm not holding rando bumper sticker guy or girl or other to the standard that I'm holding James Comey. Just like I would say the same thing if Kash Patel did that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be okay if he was out there saying, oh, we need to 86 that guy. We need to 86 James Comey. I wouldn't be like, that's right, man. I want a bumper sticker. It's different. It just is. Somebody commented early in the YouTube chat about when Donald Trump it's amazing to me the things that the TDSers cling to about Donald Trump, the things that he's done and said that they cling to. And it's like, in all of his time, you've got no new material to add to the list. But they were talking about how Donald Trump was alluding to how much people liked him. And he said he could shoot somebody in, what did he say, like Times Square, and he'd still have support. That wasn't an actual threat to people. He was making a point about the undying love that people had for. Do I think that was a smart comment? No, because Sunglow, or whoever it was at the very beginning of the show, Sunflow, jumps on the YouTube. First commenter on the YouTube today saying, Donald Trump said he was going to shoot people in Times Square. No, that's not what he said. It's just not what he said. And to me, the fact that our question to everybody, not just to liberals or to conservatives, our question to everybody partaking in this show right now on the YouTube channel, and then in just a few minutes on the phone lines, if you want to give us a call, 314-241-9797. We've got Josh, Guy, and John holding on. We got 3 lines open. My question to everybody is, do you think he was intentionally making a threat to the president? Even if it's like, if it's 50-50, but it's 50.1 to you, like, he knew what he was doing, but he's not actually going to kill the president. I'd like to know, because that's where I am on it. That's my vote. I think he, yes, absolutely. I would be a yes vote on this. Absolutely knew what he was doing, knew that would be a threat, knew that it would get his name in the news cycles. And I don't also at the same time think that he is plotting to 86-47.
It'd be one of the worst ways to telegraph that you are plotting something.
Big wink.
I'm gonna walk past all these numbers on the beach and then post it on Twitter, and then actually do it. I don't know that was the intention either, but the book thing makes a lot of sense if that's true.
Josh, Guy, John, and one line that Ethan's putting the name up. You hold on. We're going to take a very quick break here. We've got 2 lines open if you want to jump on. Let's hear what you think about James Comey's actions today. It's kind of the leading story, which is amazing because Donald Trump just brought peace to the Middle East. They're like, did you see what James Comey did with seashells? And I'm not talking like Little Mermaid stuff. It would be a better story if it were. 314-241-9797. We want to talk to you. Give us a call so you can talk to us. Your call's next.
You're right at home.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. The weather is warm outside and the spring real estate market is going to be firing up quite a bit. Make sure that you have the very best when it comes to mortgage lenders on your team. That's Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage. You want the Bagel Loan, and it's a phone call or a quick Google search away. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. When you Google the Bagel Loan, you're going to get taken straight to Stewart's American Mortgage's website, and you're going to be able to understand exactly how it works. He will provide you the loan that you need with the Bagel Loan, and you pay $0, no dollars in closing costs. If you are doing a refinance, maybe even a cash-out refinance on your home, you are going to pay $0 in closing costs when you get that Bagel Loan. Be able to close fast, work with the best in the business, and he makes it all about you when you use the Bagel Loan. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do. Any other person with the position of influence that he has, people who take very seriously what a guy of his stature, his experience, and what the propaganda media has built him up to be, I'm very concerned for the president's life. We've already seen assassination attempts. I'm very concerned for his life. And James Comey, in my view, should be held accountable and put behind bars for this.
Tulsi Gabbard weighing in on this with Jesse Waters last night. And then, of course, as we mentioned a little bit before, we do have this little bit of information. James Comey's tweet 19 hours ago, nice from Publishers Weekly, out Tuesday, May 20th. James Comey, FDR Drive, a crime novel.
Oh, it's real. I hate this story more now.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, there's a freaking book coming out. Unbelievable.
Is it?
No, it's totally believable.
Is he smart? Is he brilliant?
No, this was stupid.
He's so smart to get all this attention and this marketing genius of James Comey, but he doesn't know what 86 means.
Maybe the book sales will pay for his bail.
314-241-9797. We've got one line open. Let's start with Josh. Josh, do you think James Comey intentionally threatened the president?
I do not. I have two quick comments. Love the show, by the way. Related to the poll and one not. If you could give me 1 minute or 30 seconds. I don't think he is threatening the president's life, but now that you say the book deal, it makes a whole lot of sense because Comey loves him some Comey. If he can get in the news any way he can, then, he's going to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, 86, one of Kilmeade's guests this morning said, like, for example, in Vegas in the casino, if you get 86 and your behavior's bad enough, it's 8 miles out, 6 feet down in the desert. That's what I think 86 actually comes from.
Okay. That's I think I heard that too this morning. I think I said 80 miles out. That's
You
a lot
said 80
farther.
miles.
That's a lot farther. That's when you
I'm
really
gonna
hate
find
the
that
guy.
body. Keep going.
Josh, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Let's get to Ron. Ron, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Do you think James Comey intentionally threatened the president?
I voted yes, and while I don't think Comey ever intends to pull the trigger himself, I think he'd enjoy firing up the fringe of the left there to pull the trigger for him. Or if it happened, that's just one of them sorry things.
Yeah. Ron, I think you're onto something there. It's if you want to be a pot stirrer, we got a lot of people who are pot stirrers. The best time to be a pot stirrer is when you're selling a book. Guy, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on if James Comey intentionally threatened the president?
No, he didn't. All he did was create what you guys are falling for.
Uh-oh.
This is the big diversion. What happened this afternoon? The big, beautiful bill didn't get out of committee, and nobody's talking about it. Instead, they're talking about this idiot, all right? Who cares what he thinks? And then nobody's going to listen to him. And you started telling me that criminals are going to listen to an FBI guy? No, they don't care. They don't care what he thinks. Maybe it is about his book. I don't know. But they finally figured out a way to beat the Republicans. They throw up this big diversion, and now the swamp creatures are getting their way with the big, beautiful bill. Now we got to wait till Monday. For what? For what? And nobody's even talking about it.
Fox
It
News
didn't get out of committee.
Fox News report, President Donald
Monday,
Trump's big, beautiful bill failed to pass the House Budget Committee on Friday in what appears to be a massive blow to House GOP leaders plan to hold a House-wide vote next week. And it also goes on to say Republican Representatives Chip Roy of Texas, Josh Brechin of Oklahoma, Andrew Clyde of Georgia, and Ralph Norman of South Carolina all voted against the legislation. We were going to talk about it at 105, but we're sorry we didn't prioritize it for you there, Guy.
That's okay. I'm just telling you what's happening.
All right. Thank you for the phone call. Appreciate you. Let's talk to John. Thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Do you think James Comey intentionally threatened the president?
Well, I think what he did, like the last caller or a couple callers before, I think what he did was threw this out there and, hey, if he can get some crazy lunatic to act on it, trigger them to act on it, he's happy about it. So is that criminal? No, I think what he did do, is put his thumb on the scales while he was director. Right now, he's not the director, but he did put his thumb on the scale then. I think that needs investigated. I mean, I don't care what he says, what he does. I mean, I believe that anyone should be able to post anything they want to post.
Yeah. John,
whether that makes me think they're a terrible person, yeah, it does. But
John, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I certainly think people can post what they want to post, but you're going to FAFO real quick if you start making things that are threatening to the president. If you had a right-winger, a prominent right-winger on social media, say 8646, you don't even have to be prominent. I mean, I can't think of a better analogy than what they did to the January 6ers about the amount of people, the grandmas that they prosecuted, because they were let into the Capitol. I mean, I of all of the things that I want to see uncovered. I've said many times, I want to know every detail of people who were involved. I don't need to necessarily know all the details of what actually happened, of all the Epstein stuff, of the Diddy stuff. If there are children being abused and covered up by the American government, I want those people to hang.
Yes.
That is just so grotesque beyond understanding, culturally rotting our country from the inside out, that we could have sustained that for as long as it's possible that we did. But outside of that, I think that there are two scary things. One is the honesty and integrity of the 2020 election, and two, how the Biden Justice Department was weaponized against the American people to imprison. Gosh, we hear a lot about due process today, don't we? We care more about the due process of illegal immigrants to this country than we do actual people who were, using their First Amendment right to show dissatisfaction with the government. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm talking about everybody. It's not a blanket statement. But as much as people, the people on the left are going to come at me with like one specific instance of somebody who was maybe violent and use that as the blanket statement. I don't do blanket statements, and I don't fall for your silly arguments to try to take one piece of the story and blanket across everyone and tell me that everybody who was imprisoned and held hostage by the American government, that was okay because you've got one or two sorry stories of somebody who acted a fool, when you won't even answer questions about people like Ray Epps that we actually have questions about. Like, there's a lot of information that the American people don't have, and I'm sorry if right now my default isn't to trust the government. It's like I have such a reflexive reaction to this stuff that I have a great distrust of the government, to the point where you have to prove to me that the government acted correctly before you can possess people for years worth of time and tell me you got to prove that they don't belong there. That's not how it works. At least it wasn't how it worked until Joe Biden took over. Real quick.
Well, with the Comey thing, this is a rare instance to me where, because most of the time, if you take a partisan thing and you say shoe on the other foot, you kind of look at it through somebody else's lens and you go, yeah, okay, I can see a little bit more from that side. This is a rare instance with the Comey thing that when I initially saw it, I thought, oh, this is ridiculous. But then I did shoe on the other foot and thought about exactly what you said at the beginning of there, that if you took a Matt Whitaker or somebody, former head, interim head of the DOJ, and he said 86-46, you'd go, whoa, that is overstepping your boundaries.
And 8 years from now, some lib would be on our YouTube chat, God willing, we still have a YouTube chat to chat on, and being like, do you remember when Matt Whitaker said 86-46? What about that? And I'd be like, I don't know. You didn't care then. It wasn't a big deal to you then. Scooter says Mrs. Fry supports capital punishment. Not many have the integrity to come out and say it. For child rapists, public capital punishment.
I think
please.
we would all agree with that.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, yeah. Integrity all around.
Thank you. Very much.
Mark, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on James Comey intentionally threatening the president, yes or no?
Well, it doesn't matter if he meant it or not. He put it out there. And you should be locked up for that. I guarantee you the Secret Service would be banging my door down if I would have done something like that. And do you remember the old days when the stories, what happened to the law? I mean, you cannot threaten the president in any means whatsoever. I mean, you did prison time. If you threatened Reagan or somebody back in the old days. Remember the good old days? And
Brian?
Now maybe they're not going after Comey because they'll say, well, Trump's getting revenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Just don't do it, man.
Yeah.
Since he did it, I'm a 66-year-old law-abiding citizen, and I'm tired of these libtards just losing control, man. Come on, get a grip.
Mark,
the libtard, he suffers from Trump derangement syndrome.
Thank you.
To answer your question.
He was asking about the good old days.
The good old days.
Ryan?
I do, and I think you do too. Macklemore featuring Kesha, Good Old Days. The song, yes, I remember that. That's what you were referencing.
I don't know that song.
Yeah,
do I know that song?
Yeah, you know the song.
Sing it.
No.
Thrift shop.
I'm not going to sing. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. If Brad wants to pull me up.
You can't just play Macklemore and Kesha on the air.
We
Why
don't
not?
know.
Is it
Because we
clean?
don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I literally don't know it. I might know it once you play it, but we might also get fined by the FCC. I don't know that
we got a
wouldn't.
dump button. Let's live
You're
wild.
pushing it on Brad a little bit here. 314-241-9797. Got a few lines open right now. Let's go to Matt while Ryan does his good old days work here in just a minute. Matt, what do you think about James Comey intentionally threatening the president? Yes or no?
No. And I would say, because have you ever been to a restaurant and, like, let's say they ran out of toasted ravioli and they're like 86 toasted ravioli.
Yeah.
So it basically means removed from the menu.
Yeah, I think
So
you could
maybe-
also say, like, hey, kill the toasted ravioli. And that would mean not like murder the toasted ravioli, but it would mean
Yeah,
the
it
same
just
thing.
means take it off the menu.
Mhm.
And, it means, well, they want to remove them from office.
So you think that James Comey is being honest when he's like, oh, I didn't know it could be violent?
I think he was probably thinking that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was a waiter at one point in his life, Who knows what he was thinking at the moment. But like he said, he's
Matt,
got
I
a-
hadn't
he's got a new
considered
book
that.
coming out.
Matt, thank you for listening. I appreciate your phone call. Can you imagine like going to Applebee's and James Comey's like, you want a 2 for $25? Oh, inflation, 2 for $30.
Yes.
No,
I
James
can't imagine
Comey.
that.
James Comey's working some beach cabana right
Yeah.
now. It's where he sees all those seashells.
Oh, yeah. That dude's living the life somewhere.
Selling a book, guys.
He remembers the good old days.
You can play this. Is it foul?
Playing now. I got the sheet.
You miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that glass first. Wish I made it to home.
You remember this song?
Got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would have gotten
Is it
out of my
somebody
shell. Wish I put the
Yeah,
bottle
here.
You miss the magic of the good old
Did you just replay what you already played? No, I don't.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know that I know this. I
I didn't
don't.
intend to, but I did.
Macklemore saying Thrift Shop and Charlie was 3 or 4. I'd have to look up when Thrift Shop came out. But Charlie would sing, I'm going to pop some tags. This is really awesome. Because it was on all the time.
That's a great song.
And I couldn't. Yeah, it is. You've got the Thrift Shop jacket.
Yes,
Care
I
of
do.
Me and Brad.
You
Brad
guys
made
got
out.
me that jacket. Appreciate that.
It was in the ladies section in Walmart.
I got you this song.
Wish somebody would have told me, babe.
Did you just call me babe?
Be the good old days.
That's all you need.
I don't know that song. Is it warm in here today?
Yeah, it is.
Gosh.
But we're getting worked up because of the magic of the good old days song.
Is that it?
That's McElroy featuring Kesha.
McElroy?
McElroy.
That's Macklemore.
McElroy.
I'd rather listen to that golf special. Poor
Macklemore featuring Kesha. And my point is, that's the song
there's
that
a
John
point.
was referencing when he called in.
the good old days?
Yeah.
What was that, like 20?
He was talking
18?
about Macklemore and Kesha.
Man, all this defense off an old joke.
I got some mileage out of it, though.
So bad.
It's pretty good.
You wear your 50s well. That's all I have to
That
say.
is
Let's
not
take
funny.
a quick break. YouTube live
People
chat
will take
poll.
that for reality.
Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? We want to hear from you on the YouTube live chat poll. Thank you to everybody who called in. Glad we got through everybody. You can tell us yes or no and why on the YouTube live chat poll. Scooter says Comey is a weasel and his story sounds made up. Well, as usual, Scooter and I agree. Doug said not a threat. This is a non-traversy. And Barb says on Facebook, that's a tough one. Everyone said that Comey knew or should have known the meaning and intention. I don't know enough about Comey to say if he intended to trigger an assassination technique or just trying to get attention. I think we could all agree that he was definitely trying to get attention. And guess what? He did. And guess what? He's got a book coming out. Now everything makes sense. Be or Not to Be with Ryan Wiggins next.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So when you go through a transition in life where maybe you've lost your parent, maybe the last parent, when there isn't a plan in place, this becomes incredibly burdensome for the people who are left behind, who are mourning. When you call Civia law, you can make that so much more peaceful for those people who will inherit whatever it is you have. There is an emotional burden on families when there isn't a plan. The confusion, prolonged court battles, that lasts forever. And the resolution potentially years down the road when everything is finally taken place and gone through the court system, then that burden can finally be lifted. Try to think about those people who you love, who are going to be a part of your trust, a part of your estate plan, and care for them by calling Civia Law. If you call Civia Law at 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, if you're one of the first 10 callers after I get done talking here, you're going to get a free strategy session. That's a $300 savings to sit down and talk to them and see if they are what you're looking for. I think it's a smart move. I hired Civia Law with my husband, and I'm very glad I did. If you need a will, if you need a power of attorney for your health, for your financials, if you need a trust set up, if you have elder law concerns, Todd Civia works with you in Missouri and Illinois. Get that free strategy session locked in at 833-995-WILL right now. CiviaLaw.com.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-973-9819. And you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9819. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-9819.
The Diamond Shop graduation sale. All watches are 20% off, even Movado. Men's jewelry is 40% off. 40% off Pirelli G and gold fashion jewelry. Everything else is 30% off. The Diamond Shop.
Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. We just took calls on this subject, and wow. Thanks for chiming in. We are going to be talking about this all day. Let us know what you think by logging on to YouTube and typing in Annie Fry. You will see today's date and the live chat. That's where you can leave a comment and vote. 1242. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
No one is above the law. How about Judge Hannah Dugan? Because if you're protesting her arrest, then essentially you're saying yes, that members of the judicial branch are above the law.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you'll regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band. I was thinking about the band.
What a coincidence that this happened to be the bump song here.
It's funny how things work, isn't it?
It is funny. Life is funny.
Things are funny.
When did this song come out?
Ooh, 2013?
I would have said 2014. Yeah, somewhere around there.
You just said like a number near Ethan's number.
It was like a number one song, though. It was really big.
Huge song. And we're plugged into that world, the youth.
I am not plugged
That's because you're older.
To the youth. Not older than you.
It's your soul.
I have an old soul?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah,
always.
You do.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
The Bee or not the Bee.
Nice save, Ryan Wiggins.
All right, these are stories that are either from the Babylon Bee, which would make them fake news, or they are real stories. I'm going to read the headline.
Or
you
if
have
they're
to
from
tell
the
me.
Bee, they're fake news, as we like to say, for now.
Actually, that's a lot of these this week. All right, let's start with this one. Letitia James hides from Trump DOJ by painting herself bronze and standing very, very still in Times Square.
B. I hope.
Are you sure?
No. That would actually make more sense.
If this was real, this would be top 3 stories of the year.
If they broke
read
it.
Read that headline again.
Letitia,
It took a turn in the middle, and I forgot the
I
beginning.
know. Letitia James hides from Trump DOJ by painting herself bronze and standing very, very still in Times Square.
Gonna come up and just be like, boop. You got a booper.
So you guys are going with fake.
Yeah.
Sadly.
You're right.
Oh, man,
You're right. It's
I
not
wanted
real.
it to be real in my soul.
Here's the story, though, just so you know.
Okay.
Thus far, the gambit appears to have paid off, with people believing James to be a statue of an unkempt woman who challenges perceived notions of representation. Quote, "Just be still, Letitia. They'll never suspect it," said James.
All you can see is her eyes shifting back and forth.
Said James, hands on her hips. "Look at the dolts taking pictures of me as I hide in plain sight."
Why didn't Letitia James pick a crime she hadn't committed
Unbelievable.
to go
isn't
after
it?
Trump? Like,
It's unbelievable.
come on. I understand that it was what you were most familiar with.
And you know she's scared because she is loud about it right now.
And anxious, you can tell.
right.
It's another example of like the context of who she is and what she's done. Throw the book at her. Same with Comey. The context of who he is and what he's done. I have no sympathy for you. Whatever the max capacity of the Justice Department you can lawfully throw it at them. Because they deserve that, because they suck.
So is she next to like the 12-foot statue that they just put up in Times Square?
They're
or
saying
is
that
she
is
the
her
statue?
statue.
That's her.
So she's 12 feet tall, got it. She's literally Goliath.
It's the magic of show business.
You're thinking about this too much.
Yeah.
It's just a photogenic trick.
Ryan's like, this has to be the
It's all-
bee because
it's all
that
an
statue's
optical
12 feet
illusion.
tall.
Yeah, it's
Forced perspective.
It's forced perspective. You understand? I'm from TV, so
Oh,
you
my God.
understand.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that business.
I'm still adjusting to
I was
that.
in the industry.
You got 86 from TV.
That's true.
I'm sorry if that hurt.
What's
I
the
didn't
term
mean
for
to-
getting picked up by radio, though?
Did you?
I kind of forced my way in.
You kind of did.
Yeah.
But we're glad to have you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
What a nice person.
Thank you. I know.
Next story is man with history of fighting kangaroos found dead inside kangaroo enclosure at the zoo.
No.
No, that sounds like a real story.
Not Kangaroo Man.
Yeah, I think this is real.
I do too.
Yes, this is real. The guy's last name is Slate. Slate's
His
body.
last name was Slate?
Yeah, Slate's body was
killer
found
name.
inside the enclosure just before midnight on Friday at the five-star firm 30 miles north of Myrtle Beach. Some reports have
This is
suggested.
in the United States?
Yes.
I just assumed it was in Australia.
I know.
I
With
was
a name
like,
like
those
Slate.
Aussies are crazy.
With a name like Slate.
Slight.
Yeah, there's like a guy named Slate who got killed by a kangaroo, and you said it's in Miami?
It's in Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, this is not America. And then, well, Myrtle Beach.
You
How
know, if
about
it
that?
happens in Australia, it's almost like it's on another planet.
Yeah,
to
that
me.
didn't happen here. That didn't exist. Some reports have suggested that Eric Slate was in the enclosure roughhousing with the kangaroos at the time of his death, but we don't know that's the case. We'll have to wait for the autopsy. Eric Slate's
What is
brother,
the autopsy going to say?
Robert, I don't know. It'll have like
Does it have
footprints.
intentions and motivations?
Two big footprints on him.
Like, I think that probably was the thing that did it.
It's kind of like the irony of the crocodile hunter. What was his name?
Steve
Irwin.
Irwin.
His death from a stingray.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of doing what you do.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, I wouldn't swim with stingrays like that.
You have
and he's
to
like,
know if you go into kangaroo enclosures at zoos just
They're
to
gonna-
fight them,
they're going to do kangaroo stuff.
eventually it's going to catch up with you.
He's done it so much that he's known for it.
He is.
How many times do you have to fight a kangaroo to be known for fighting kangaroo?
One.
I think it's just one.
But
Yeah.
still.
You're at the zoo. There's a guy in there fighting a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Ah, it's just Slate.
That's Eric Slate. He's known for that.
Slate.
He's just mad at him.
Poor guy. Poor family.
All right, Colorado Rockies accused of using performance-inhibiting drugs.
Oh. Oh.
This should be real.
melatonin found in, can't even name a Colorado Rocky. Oh, there's a Cardinal there. In there?
Austin Gomber, I don't think he's there anymore.
That's what I was
Chris
thinking of.
Bryant is
Austin
still.
Gomber.
Oh,
is
Chris
still
Bryant
with
is
them.
maybe. I wanted him
He's
to
the
be a
big
Cardinal.
one. He was with the Cubs for
Is
a
he
long
hitting
time.
bombs there?
Oh, he's terrible. It's like it's the worst contract in baseball.
You go to
place
Colorado
where
as a
you're
home
supposed
run
to hit
hitter
home runs.
and don't hit home runs?
Pretty bad. But they are just for a little. Do you have information on them? How bad they're doing right now?
Let me see if it's in
I
this
continue
fake
to
story
see.
here.
Well,
they continue to have like open tryout posts that are floating around social media. As a joke.
Last year, the Chicago White Sox had the worst season in baseball history, and at this point in the year, they were 11-28. The Colorado Rockies are 7-33.
Oh no!
They are on track.
It's amazing,
They
especially
are on
back-to-back
track
seasons.
to destroy the worst record in baseball
That's so
history.
sad.
Record. It's
I
extremely
visited the
sad.
Rockies Stadium at the end of last season. Maybe
Beautiful
this is the
ballpark.
Wiggins curse. Maybe we could refer to it as that. I'd be fine with that.
I'd blame you. Does John Ozalek have a connection to Colorado, Denver?
Yes, but I'm not sure what it is.
I've heard that
at
he
one
should
point
maybe
at one point he was in their
go fix
organization doing
Colorado?
something, but I'm not sure what.
Maybe it's in this story here. Let me see. No, nothing about John Mozeliak, but it says that MLB officials expressed a lack of confidence in the Rockies' claims that this is all natural and are seeking independent testing through the Joint Drug Prevention Treatment Program.
Oh, that makes me sad.
And then it goes on about the White Sox stuff.
Can you imagine being their moms? Ugh.
I cannot imagine that.
Well, you should just be a little more
Whenever I watch
introspective.
sports, I don't really, my mind doesn't go there.
I think I've got a new
What if
question.
I was his mom?
What if I was his mom?
I'd probably be pretty good looking because he's a handsome guy.
That is the
Pete Alonso.
most dude thing. That is the most dude that you could take that comment. Have you ever thought? Even when it's against my team, if they're struggling, I'm like, oh, their mom has got to be so stressed right now. And you're like, they're good looking. I'd be
bet
pretty
she's
happy
so
about
hot.
that.
Yeah. I bet Pete Alonso's mom's really hot. Ooh, I wonder if I would be Pete Alonso's
You think
mom.
Pete
Is
Alonso's
she
hot?
actually a polar bear?
That's his nickname.
All right, next story. Not just the head. Stolen Melania Trump statue sawed off at the ankles.
No, that's just cruel.
I didn't know there was a statue, so I'm going to say this is real. There's no part of this that alludes to a story that I've heard to be.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's real because this sounds like what a criminal would do, and they get there and they didn't have a good plan.
It is real. I know it is real.
You're right. It is real. Melania Trump's Slovenian hometown put up a statue of the city's favorite daughter in 2020, but the life-size piece was recently stolen. After seeing the statue, it's entirely possible that, the article says, that Melania ordered the hit herself. Because it's just I'm going to hold this up. It's just, I'll try to describe it. It is a faceless, sort of just imprint of a person that looks like it might be a woman.
That doesn't even look like a real person.
Put it back up there.
Put it back up. There we go. All right. So it just looks like an outline of a person. It's not.
That's a nightmare.
Yes. That is a real picture.
So she cut it down.
That's the implication from the actual article. The stolen bronze statue itself was a replacement for a wooden one that was set on fire in 2020. So there's probably one rando in that hometown who's like, I'm going to take that thing down. I don't like that. It keeps happening. Next one.
If somebody erected a statue of me that was that hideous, I would pay someone to cut it down. I'd be like, just do it.
Yeah, well, Trump didn't like the picture of him in the Colorado Capitol. He said something about it. DNC to remove David Hogg after realizing he's David Hogg.
No comment.
I refuse to believe that this is the B. I am holding on the hope that this is a real article.
This is one that blurs the lines, doesn't it? It is the B, but DNC announced it will attempt to void Hogg's February election to vice chair on procedural grounds, stating that no one had yet comprehended that this was David Hogg. Obviously, we have to remove him. He's David Hogg, stated DNC operations manager Chandler Kilgore. Is that a real person?
Kilgore.
For the sake of our own survival, the DNC will act quickly and mercilessly to depose him. I mean, it's literally David Hogg.
It's literally the only reason.
That's it. The whole article is written that way.
How is that David Hogg? I didn't know that.
All right, Democrats confused by legal immigrants who seem to love America.
You are not doing this the way we designed this to be done.
It's the bee.
You're right, it's the bee. Democrat onlookers were baffled at the unusual sight of a group of immigrants arriving in the United States legally while waving patriotic American flags. A group of 59 Afrikaners escaped persecution. Afrikaners escaped persecution in South Africa and arrived in Washington this week. Quote, "Wait, I'm confused. They don't hate America?" said one Democrat immigration activist. "Why are we even letting them in? This is weird."
You got one more?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple, actually. Max is detransitioning back to HBO Max.
Real?
I don't know.
It's real.
Sounds like a true story. It's just a way, a matter of speaking.
Yeah.
It's blurry. The lines are blurry. This is a real story, though. Warner Brothers streaming service was once HBO Go, then HBO Now, then HBO Max, and then just Max. Only 3 short years later, the service is rebranding again, this time going backwards, and we're getting HBO Max. The reason it's a story, though, is that the online comments about detransitioning back to HBO Max have become their own thing.
That's so funny.
Why wouldn't you just be HBO? That's a brand.
Is Max not a separate thing, though?
Well, did they buy
HBO Max?
Cinemax?
HBO Max is just the streaming service.
Did HBO buy Cinemax, though?
I don't know the answer to that. They might have.
I thought HBO and HBO Max was a
merger?
Coupling.
Well, this would be a conscious decoupling.
I think it's a detransition.
Detransition.
Get it right.
AI overview on Google says no, HBO did not buy Cinemax.
Okay.
All right.
But they are both owned by Warner Brothers.
Well, samesies. Go. Next,
Okay.
last one.
Pete Rose Hall of Fame induction ceremony to be sponsored by DraftKings.
Oh.
I know. I will put it last because I'm like, if we don't get to it, that's okay. But we did.
But you hurried it up.
Yeah, this is the B. Despite keeping Rose on the permanently ineligible list for Hall of Fame consideration until his death, Major League Baseball agreed to allow the sponsorship.
It kind of
just
ticks
fits
me
the
off
occasion.
that they did this after he died. He died
Right.
early, so
Yep.
maybe you couldn't have expected it. Ryan, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Brad?
Yes.
Ethan?
Yes.
Annie? Yes. All right. When we come back at 1:25, we're going to do our next question segment where you can ask us anything. Put your comments right there on the Annie Fry YouTube Live. And we'll get to some things that we missed during the week. I missed a whole day. I wonder what they will be. Vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
Experience the Beatles anew as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Revolution, the music of the Beatles. The SLSO joins top vocalists and musicians to perform sweeping orchestral arrangements of more than 25 of the Beatles' top hits, like Here Comes the Sun, Hey Jude, and Let It Be. Revolution, the music of the Beatles, with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, features stunning video, animation, and hundreds of unseen photos, bringing the band's enduring legacy to life. Saturday, May 17th at Stiefel Theater. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
The Retirement Advisory Group is inviting you Tuesday, May 20th. How is it already May 20th? That's ridiculous. To Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's happening at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton this coming Tuesday. I'm going to be there at 6. I stay till 6:30 when the event starts, and then we welcome you together with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon and introduce Thomas Helbig and the Kershaws, the amazing people of the Retirement Advisory Group, who put this free event on for people like you who are very close to retiring. Even if you have just retired, how do you link to the market without having to experience the downside when the market goes down? Well, they have the answer to that. And if you want to reserve your free spot, you need to call 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Tell them Annie sent you and that you'd like to have a spot at the Tuesday, May 20th Frontenac Hilton event, Protecting Your Retirement educational event. 6:30 p.m. is when it starts. I get there at 6, retirementkey.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A jailbreak in New Orleans. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Multiple inmates on the loose, some facing murder and attempted murder charges.
Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson says 11 prisoners escaped her jail in New Orleans around midnight Friday morning. It wasn't discovered until a morning head count about 8 hours later that sent the jail into lockdown.
Our top priority right now is the safety of the public and returning these individuals to our custody without delay.
The inmates, all adult males described as armed and dangerous. The sheriff not telling us how they pulled off the escape or why it took so long for the public to be notified, but says
anyone who helped or contributed to this escape will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
At least 2 escaped prisoners captured so far with help from Louisiana State Police. President Trump's big, beautiful bill hits a roadblock as several Republicans join all Democrats voting against the resolution in the House Budget Committee.
A frustrated Congressman Tom McClintock accusing his colleagues of voting against $4.5 trillion worth of tax cuts over 10 years.
Hopefully, they will feel the heat and see the light and come back sadder but wiser.
A group of conservative members want assurances on spending cuts, wanting them to take effect sooner.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz, the committee could try again as soon as Monday. Earlier today, the president urging Republicans to unite behind that bill in a social media post on his way back from the Middle East. The Secret Service investigating a now deleted post from former FBI Director James Comey. The number's 8647 written in seashells.
White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Cabinet Secretary Taylor Budowich posted, quote, "The former FBI director puts out what can clearly be interpreted as a hit on the sitting president of the United States. This is deeply concerning to all of us and is being taken seriously."
Fox's Rich Edson. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
All Pacific cool front moving in and setting the stage for scattered strong to severe thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon. Let's really pay attention to the skies. Some of these things could produce damaging winds and large hail. But it's all gone tonight. After 7 o'clock, we're clear. Clear skies overnight, windy and 59. Saturday, sunny, breezy, and cooler. 78. Sunday, partly sunny, 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
Here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That means a $100,000 savings account today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. And you see it every time you fill up your tank, buy groceries, or pay the bills. Prices are up. Your dollar is down. But there's a simple way to protect the value of your savings with something real, something proven. Gold. An asset that holds its value over time. That's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to protect your savings with physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, no call centers. Just honest guidance, one-on-one support, and transparent pricing. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar as a thank you. Head to noblegoldinvestments.com today to learn more. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
May is a great time to exercise your Second Amendment rights at the Range St. Louis West. If you're a member this month, they're going to double the discount on firearms from 5 to 10%. Membership has its privileges, and accessories are always 10% off, ammo 10% off, classes 15% off. You get free lanes and free rentals with over 120 firearms on the Range. Check them out at 14803 Manchester Road or shop online at therangestl.com.
Love Talk Radio? We want to hear from you. Help shape the future of your favorite shows right here in St. Louis. Tell us what you love, what you skip, and what you want more of, because your voice matters. You'll be helping us make better radio for you and the entire St. Louis community. It's easy to sign up, and selected panelists will receive a special gift as a thank you. Visit 971talk.com/feedback to join the conversation today. That's 971talk.com/feedback.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. You know your trees can't talk, but if they could, they'd be calling me. From trimming to treatments, we'll make your trees the healthiest and happiest on the block. Call us before your trees start giving you the silent treatment. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Maria, this is the nature of this Congress. There's colleagues of mine that have been no votes, and then they eventually change their vote. A lot of times it's a phone call from the president that delivers the yes vote. We will deliver it. Failure's not an option. I know that some of them are going out there and throwing a wet blanket on different things. This is a great pro-growth bill that benefits working families, small business owners, and farmers, and we're going to deliver on that. Will it be bouncy along this way? It will be. But that's the nature of this Congress, but we're going to deliver for the American people. I will not rest, Maria, until this bill becomes law.
So Representative Jason Smith here from Missouri has got a little bit of wakey time left because it did not pass out of the Budget Committee. The headline from Fox News says handful of Republicans sink Trump's big, beautiful bill in key House committee. So let's just get to the report of this. It says Republican Representatives Chip Roy, Josh Breachin of Oklahoma, Andrew Clyde of Georgia, Ralph Norman of South Carolina all voted against the legislation. A fifth House Republican, Representative Lloyd Smucker of Pennsylvania, also switched his vote from yes to no, though it was a procedural maneuver that allows him to bring the legislation up again. Smucker told reporters he was quite confident in the bill's success. House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington of Texas said the panel would likely not meet again on Friday and could reconvene on Monday. The committee met to mark up and debate the bill, a massive piece of legislation that's a product of 11 different House committees' individual efforts to craft policy under their jurisdiction. The result is a wide-ranging bill that advances Trump's priorities on the border, immigration, taxes, energy, defense, and raising the debt limit. That is just a ton of stuff that they have to get done with what is being referred to, of course, as the big, beautiful bill. Fox News goes on to say emotions ran high in the hallway outside the House Budget Committee's meeting from the outset, however, giving the media little indication of how events would transpire. Representative Brandon Gill of Texas, who had been at home with his wife and newborn baby, surprised reporters when he arrived at the Cannon House office building, where he was initially expected to miss the committee meeting. His appearance gave House GOP leaders some added wiggle room, allowing the committee to lose 2 Republican votes and still pass the bill rather than just 1. But at least 4 House Republicans went into the meeting warning they were opposed to the bill. Shortly before the meeting was expected to begin, Roy, Norman, Clyde, and Breachin abruptly left the room while saying little to no reporters. On the way out, each came back a short while later and criticized the legislation in their opening remarks. The fiscal hawks are frustrated about provisions curbing Medicaid in the bill not going into effect until 2029. What happens in 2029? And that'd be like right after the election of the new president, so the current president wouldn't be responsible for any sort of curbed provisions of Medicaid. They had similar issues with the delay in phasing out green energy subsidies from former President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. Quote from Chip Roy, "Only in Washington are we expected to bet on the come that in 5 years, then everything will work. Then we will solve the problem. We have got to change the direction of this town." And to my colleagues and the other side of the aisle, yes, that means touching Medicaid. Chip Roy is going to be the death of this thing. I don't know what Donald Trump is going to have to do or say to get him on board, or what concessions are going to have to be made that other people in this caucus will agree on. But Chip Roy certainly seems to be the leader here. At one point, Norman came out of the room and called for committee to recess in order to work through the fiscal hawks' concerns. He said, if they call for a vote now, it's not going to end well. Minutes later, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who is not a member of the committee but had been meeting with holdouts, told reporters he wanted the legislation to advance through the budget panel as soon as possible. Roy said on X after the vote, quote, "We are making progress, but the vote was called and the problems were not resolved, so I voted no. I am staying in Washington this weekend to deliver." So today it didn't work. This is, I get the headline. This is not like shocking.
No, not at all. This is all process.
Not to mention the fact, I don't know these people and what they're doing, but the fact that they are holding out and making a scene a little bit here about being fiscal hawks is credit to them as representatives. It's showing that they are caring about these things. I'm always very skeptical of the song and dance.
Me too.
And there is song and dance. And if the song and dance needs to be sung and danced, then it will be, and there's still time to pass the big, beautiful bill. It's just time's ticking.
The thing is, this isn't just grandstanding. This isn't song and dance, because somebody like Chip Roy comes out and makes a statement. He has very specific things. He says these need to be in this bill. So if it was just grandstanding and saying it's too big, that's one thing. But he makes it very specific.
Well, but I mean, if just because Chip Roy wants it doesn't mean Chip Roy gets it. And if what he wants isn't tenable for the rest of the Republicans, there's going to have to be a compromise made somewhere, or no bill.
Well, one of the things he says in that statement that he gave about an hour ago is that the green new scam must be fully repealed, as President Trump called for. So he's actually saying this is something Trump wants, and you're not even doing it. So in that sense, he's kind of aligning with the president. There's other stuff that probably he's not, but that is one that he is.
So we'll see what happens here. House Republicans, according to Fox News, are working to pass Trump's agenda via the budget reconciliation process, which allows the party controlling the House, White House, and Senate to pass broad pieces of legislation while completely sidelining the minority party. Democrats need not apply if the Republicans can get their act together. This all put together by Elizabeth Elkind, Tyler Olson from Fox News. All right. You want to get to what I missed over the week? Because I know there was plenty of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
What did I miss?
Like normally Brad does this segment, but there's one that I pulled that I really wanted to play at some point mostly because I didn't understand it, and I knew that there were people in this room who understood it more than me. And listening to Scott Jennings, I'm always like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's spot on. He is able to read the tea leaves and give it to the people that are watching CNN straight, but then like also the rest of us who don't watch CNN but do watch his clips. And I don't really understand the case that he's making here. Am I in support of this?
I think it's time that we took a different look and a new look at the reign of Emperor Palpatine. I think maybe, I mean, you did a podcast on this. I think he's getting a bad rap. And look what he did. He took on an entrenched deep state at the Jedi Council. He tried to bring order to the, he wanted free and fair and reciprocal trade around the galaxy.
Blew up Alderaan.
Protected law and order. Well, I think some could argue that it was warranted given their rebellious activities. I mean, he defended the Empire against unelected hippies and violent protesters. I'm just saying, it's been a while. We may need to take a look at this again and say, was he right? And maybe it's time to take a different look at his
Was
leader.
Palpatine right about everything?
So I don't. I thought I didn't understand Star Wars before, but now I'm very. What?
I understand a little bit about Star Wars, not a lot.
Is Palpatine good?
No, Palpatine's a bad guy.
No, he's the bad guy.
He's the main bad guy, right?
The bad guy.
And he's also just gross and skeezy. And you don't want to be associated with him because he's so gross.
Palpatine.
Yeah, he's the Emperor.
Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, he needs a facial. And some eye stuff for the puffy eyes.
Well, all that happened because he got hit in the face with his own Force lightning whenever...
oh, that's right.
Yeah, he kind of did that to himself on accident.
Sounds like he deserved it.
Does Scott Jennings have a point here, though?
I like what Scott Jennings doing because he's taking, it's a clever twist on it, but that's also him like shading the facts to make it like not real.
In Star Wars world.
Right. So like in the Star Wars saga, the Skywalker saga, episodes 1 through 6, it's basically, his name is Sheev Palpatine. He starts off as a senator from Naboo.
Here we go.
And
this is why I did this now, because I don't have to do it again for the rest
he
of the
goes
show.
behind the scenes. He works behind the scenes, and he plays both sides. He starts an intergalactic war, which allows him to then become chancellor of the Senate and then reorganize the Senate into an empire, so it's no longer a republic. So he takes away the vote, and he crowns himself emperor, and he says, so we can have peace.
Ender says, this is the radio I'm here for. Well, I'm glad that's
There is a
when you
portion
sent
of
that
the population.
When you sent that, I was like, Ender's going to love this. So then he creates an empire, and he uses it just to centralize his own power, and he oppresses people, and he treats them horribly.
I'm with Joe here. He says Sith Lord or 7th. Can't keep it straight.
Sith Lord or 7th Lord?
Just work through it.
Yeah. I like watching Ryan work through this.
6th.
Oh, 6th Lord or 7th
See, a joke's funny
Lord.
twice with Ryan, when you get it and when he gets it.
Oh, man, that's solid humor there, Joe.
That was great. It's the only part of this that I understood.
Yeah, then he turns, Darth Vader against, the Jedi and makes him the second most evil person in the galaxy.
Is Darth Vader a good guy?
I think that Darth Vader's redemption arc makes him be a good guy. He starts off as a good guy, and he ends as a good guy, but in the middle he was a very, very bad guy. But he's redeemed.
Bobo goes, I thought my YouTube just changed.
Somebody needs to take the full...
fell into the Star Wars nerddom. I don't even know how I got here.
No, I disagree with Scott completely.
Somebody needs to take the full speech from Scott Jennings and do it in the voice. It says, well, technically, the Emperor
What you doing after the show, Ryan?
Is misunderstood, and here's why. It's because of the global trade system that he was involved in. That's what needs to happen.
I want you to do that on the Anti-Fry YouTube channel, but super seriously, because that is an algorithm that if we fall into, we will get clicks from, and they're going to hate you, and we're going to profit.
Here's what I need. I need somebody online to transcribe the full Scott Jennings thing. So the minute we get off at 3 o'clock, I will sit in a camera, look directly into it. Brad will put it next to Scott Jennings, and then we're viral. And then we're all rich.
Yeah, we might make like $3.
Yeah, on all those clicks.
That's before YouTube's cut.
Dang it. I thought I was going to maybe get a corn dog.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I got to get a cut of that, too.
Ooh.
You want to hit up anything else here that I missed over the week?
Yeah, one other video that I wanted to show or share is Charlie Kirk had a response to David Hogg. David Hogg said that
a lot of David Hogg content
Yes,
today.
yeah, it was more than I was thinking. But David Hogg said in a quote that the Democrat Party needs to change their strategy. He said young people should be focused on getting laid and having fun.
Lovely.
And Charlie Kirk had one of the best responses to that I have heard in a long time. And I really like this because I think he points out what the Republican Party and what the conservative movement is actually doing and why they're gaining with young people.
How nihilistic and also how dismissive of all the concerns that young people are feeling right now. The Democrats the last couple of years, and Hogg is half right about this, they have lost young people, especially young men. When I go to these college campuses, though, they don't just want to have more degeneracy or debauchery. They're looking for something greater, something higher. They're in the pursuit of something good and true and beautiful. Remember, if you're on a college campus right now, the very young people that we at Turning Point USA are winning over, large in part thanks to President Trump, you suffered under the lies and the deception of COVID, of wearing a mask while you shower, of the 9th booster shot, of the hyper-policing of every pronoun and every syllable that you say. And they want something greater than that, not something darker and something that is rooted in a cynical worldview. And David Hogg is so dismissive of young people that want to have a mission, that want to have meaning, that don't just want to pursue what makes them feel good, but instead young people increasingly want to do good. This is also why we're seeing young people go back to church. According to Axios, a story just a couple days ago, church attendance is going up large in part thanks to young Gen Z men. David Hogg is selling a very dark worldview, and we are going to embrace one that lifts people up and one that is rooted in eternal principle.
So to me, Charlie Kirk nails it here. He understands that people want something more in life than just to feel good. You know, guys don't want to sit around and just be sedated by drugs and watch, videos online, naked girls, go out, score, that sort of thing. They do actually have something deep in them that aspires to being something more. And Charlie Kirk with Turning Point has put his thumb on the pulse of American men, young Gen Z men, and he's actually giving them what they want and showing them this is the thing that you want, to aspire to something higher. Now, Charlie Kirk is a Christian, and I think that there is part of him that is pushing him in that direction. But he said there, and we're seeing it in lots of studies, that young men are actually starting to go back to church, and that to me is really encouraging.
David Hogg also is so hypocritical with that comment. Basically, the plebes need to be out there just eating and screwing. And I am going to work on this higher calling of helping everybody out. Like he puts himself above everybody he's talking about when he makes that comment.
Speaking of Kirk, Chris says to really get hates, Ryan, do it as Spock or Captain Kirk.
No, I'm doing it as that nerd guy. I got a really good nerd guy voice, and I want to use it. And I want to go viral with it.
You know, the only thing I really understand about Captain Kirk in Star Trek is Ace Ventura's version of it. When he's in the dolphin tank.
You know what's tough? Is that I became a fan
mister.
I became a fan of Star Trek after Ace Ventura.
Yeah?
So I was
that
watching.
reeled you in?
Well, no, it wasn't that, but I became it after 93.
Study log.
And so anytime I'd watch Captain Kirk in the originals, you just watch for those moments where he would do that. And you're like, hey, that's like Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he did do that a
Ace
lot.
Ventura is not a movie that could be made today.
No,
The whole
we need to
thing
all
is about
rewatch that.
I did.
Did you?
I showed my. I guess it was just my oldest two, or maybe my son. He wanted to see it, and I'm like, yeah, you can watch it. Just know that this is not an appropriate movie in 2025. And it's not. The whole time
Especially
it's
when
like
he wheels around Einhorn at the end. Like, whoa, whoa.
Finkel's Einhorn. I mean, good grief. Anytime someone says laces out, I'm like, laces out. Gosh, if you know, you know. A quick break when we come back. Next question. The next segment, next question. Our Ask Us Anything here on a Friday afternoon. We want to know what you want to know, and we'll answer that on the other side of this break. Your YouTube live chat poll votes also are needed. Hit us up on the Andy Fry YouTube channel and in the live chat portion of the broadcast. Let us know if you think James Comey intentionally threatened the president. Yes or no? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
me 6 foot down. And let the stone say, here lies a girl.
Air Comfort Service is going to keep you cool on these hot spring/summer days that are setting in. If you give them a call at 314-513-0091, if you have any maintenance that needs to be done. When was the last time you had maintenance done to your air conditioner? Just have you had maintenance done to your air conditioner? Call them and tell them, come on out. Heard about you on the Annie Fry Show. You can sign up for a monthly plan and have your whole HVAC system cared for. That's going to help you avoid costly repairs or possibly replacements. We just recently had to replace the whole system in our house, and we did it with Air Comfort Service, gladly so. 314-513-0091 is the number to call. Right now, if you do end up needing to do a replacement on that air conditioner, Air Comfort Service has stocked up on 2024 merchandise because in 2025, there's new regulations put in place, different kind of refrigerant involved in the new material. They got the old stuff so that they can help pass along that 20% savings to you. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is J.D. Powers Award winner 5 years in a row and has the nation's best warranty coverage. Renewal by Andersen, that's who. Take advantage of our great May sale. $279 off every window and $729 off every entry door or patio door with 0 payments and 0 interest for 18 months. Check it out at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. Renewal by Andersen, a better way to a better window.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Next question. It's a legitimate question.
Next question.
Next question, please.
Next question on the Annie Fry Show.
All right, first one. Kesha, yes or no? Big fan of Kesha or not?
What the heck?
You're a liar.
Yeah, he is.
It's a great question.
I said either you two guys got a banger of a first question. Ryan's like, yeah, I got this.
I got it. Let me have it.
See, I like her, but as a mom, I think she's filthy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not
Brad
a fan.
agrees as a mom.
Yeah, as a mom, she is disgusting.
I really like Kesha.
I think this is not the first time you said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Talked about her in 2 hours today.
I don't know what's happened to Kesha in the last few years because I don't hear much from her. But anytime I would hear a Kesha song, I'm like, I kind of like that. No idea what she was saying, so the message was lost on me.
I'm going to ask Bobo's question. If your belly button was a button, what would it do when you pressed it? Mine would give me a dose of caffeine. Then I wouldn't have to go get coffee every day.
I think mine would turn
and see the really nice people at scooters.
Hands into mallets.
Oh, God.
And my feet into skates. So I could just roll around smashing stuff.
That's the stupidest answer to this stupid question. Really? Why do you even think that? Your hands would turn into mallets so you could smash things?
But I'd need skates to do it fast.
Brad?
Gosh, how do you follow that? Mine would
Literally say anything.
Yeah. Mine would probably bring me a Diet Coke. I had to press a button and then somebody would come in from another room.
Diet Coke?
With a Diet Coke on a thing.
That could probably happen. And yours could probably happen too, Andy.
Yeah.
You could probably get something implanted underneath your belly button that is a real button that let people know that you wanted a Diet Coke.
Next question.
Mine couldn't happen.
What trend can you not wait to see die?
You go first.
I think that these trends where these people do horrible things to other people and then scream, it's just a prank, bro, it's just a prank, bro, it's just a prank, bro. I think that pranking trend online
sounds like our whole show.
Should die.
I think he's advocating for me to leave the show.
I don't know. I don't know that trend.
I do know that trend.
Yeah?
That trend is annoying.
Is that a guy thing?
I don't know if it's a algorithm
Is that in the
thing.
guy algo?
It probably is. It feeds it to me too.
Ron says that his button would dispense a piece of bacon.
Just one?
Well, how many do you need at a time if you got a button that's always on the go?
Well, it doesn't have to recharge. All right. But it seems like a fantasy world to me.
Some people don't need as
where
long to recharge their bacon, Ryan.
That's wishful thinking. You can't have a belly button bacon button that doesn't recharge.
You
That's
can
ridiculous.
have whatever you want in this world we're living
ridiculous. I'll agree with Brad. The prank videos that the person's not in on the prank.
Right.
And they make the pranker look bad. So I don't know what they're getting out of it.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, it's not even a prank. It's like they assaulted this person. Yeah, they'd walk up and knock all the drinks out of his hands and everything, and then they want to point at the camera and be like, it's just a prank.
Do you have your own answer?
I have two. One is videos where people rehabilitate a homeless person, but there's this long process and it's all documented that you're like, I'm not sure that any of this is real.
You're against the rehabilitation of homeless people.
I'm all for it.
Secondly?
Without video. When you're doing it for just clicks, I'm like, come on, man. This looks like pharisaical. The second
a lot
one,
of comments on the YouTube today about my hair. Weird.
What are they saying?
Annie's hair kind of resembles Sho'nuff in The Last Dragon. What the heck does that mean?
None of us know.
I haven't seen that one.
I don't know if that's nice or not. I'll take it as a compliment. What's the other trend?
The other one is video, and this is definitely a guy algorithm thing. I don't know if, Brad, you get these or what, but they are videos fed to you a lot of times by Facebook that they're not porn, but they're sexualized situations that people are in. Like, it's just a woman walking around doing stuff, but she's just posing weird, and you're like, this is intended poorly. I know what you're doing here. You can get around the algorithm, but you're still trying to achieve the same thing. I hate those things. And I think they just show up because I'm a guy.
I don't get them on Facebook because I'm not really on Facebook, and I don't know that I get them on Twitter because my algorithm's all politics, but I know the type of video you're talking about where it's like, it's not, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The trend that I would like to go away is that fat is fine. I've said this multiple times before, but I grew up in a size 00 world where everybody was so unattainably skinny, and then it seems like we swung dramatically over to the other side where, and I think this is kind of starting to fade out. I think the RFK Jr. thing is kind of giving people the zap to say, I want to be healthy. I wish that we would start talking about being healthy, looking, this is what they're saying, that healthy comes in all shapes and sizes. It does come in all shapes and sizes, but not all shapes and sizes are healthy. And I wish that we would get to that. Next question.
If the price and the time are the same, would you rather fly or drive?
Fly.
I would rather drive.
I think I would rather drive as well. I fell in love with road trips again when I drove up to Chicago last week or the week before to watch that concert and come back the next day. It was so fun.
A road trip to Chicago is probably the most boring road trip out there.
Chicago. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't
He
notice
said
that.
Chicago.
Did I?
No, he did.
Oh,
Brad
he did.
Yeah. Chicago.
Ah.
It's like one of them.
Yeah, you sound like one of those people.
You ever been in a really bad car accident?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a really bad?
Yeah.
I have. I prefer flying. Never been in a really bad plane accident. Here I am.
No kidding.
No. Although I guess that would make it like I survived the car accident, so maybe I could.
I was actually in a fatal car accident.
Yeah, you've told that story before.
Obviously, the
Quickly?
fatality was not me, but quickly it was the other driver, and it was the other driver's fault. So it was a group of us. I think I was about 19, and rammed into this guy who made a left turn that shouldn't have, and he eventually died.
That's sad. Bobo says, if your reflection occasionally gave you unsolicited advice, what would it probably say most often?
If your
reflection
gave you unsolicited advice, shave.
You talking about me?
Yeah, we're going around the room, right?
Yeah. Annie?
Not you do,
should
Brad.
shave. Yeah. Shave. No, yours is shave.
Yeah, I just...
Why? You shaved the other day and...
I need to shave more often.
A few weeks ago, and you were like, I'm never doing that again.
No, I loved it. You're wrong.
When you got rid of your beard?
Oh, the full shave. No, I mean just like keep up with my neck beard and stuff.
Oh.
Wash more often, sir. That's what it would say.
Bathe. Hygiene, bro. Brad?
My reflection's very dignified, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Refers to me as sir. He also demeans me.
That makes sense.
I think my reflection
You disgust me, sir.
would probably advise me to focus on what's going well and not so much on what's going wrong.
Mine would be to chill out and slow down.
Is your reflection a hippie?
No.
Hey, Annie, what up? Thanks for coming to
My
the mirror
reflection's
again.
super high. Loves all things incense.
You know what today is? Might say 516 on the calendar, but it's 420 in this mirror.
Nope. Nope, that's not it. Next question, Brad.
Well, along those lines then, is there a piece of advice that you swear by that you received one time?
The advice I give is be humble or be humbled.
I got a piece of advice on my on my
Taffy?
wedding, my wedding day. That was a guy that I have not spoken to in years, but I always remember what he said to me because he's the only one who really said anything really important on my wedding day. Like he's the only one.
Only one.
Well, the pastor probably did too. I don't remember.
What about your wife?
I don't know.
The idea.
I didn't see her much that day.
This
Doing a lot of
random
stuff.
guy that you don't know is the only one who said anything important.
Might have been the DJ
on your wedding
Not
day.
sure.
Oh my gosh.
Probably was serving the
Mrs. Wiggins.
the
Heads
little
up.
muffins.
What?
Because we had breakfast for dinner. Remember?
No, I don't. I wasn't there.
Yeah, we had breakfast for
You
dinner.
didn't invite me. You excluded me.
Well, my wife said, "Do you want to bring Annie?" I said, "No, we don't know her yet." This is 2007.
What a weird convo.
And that's what I was trying to get to. It was a weird conversation. A
Yeah.
guy came up and said, "Why didn't you bring Annie?" I said, "I don't know her yet." End of story. Okay, finally. What he really said was, you don't fight with your spouse because you're fighting against yourself. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's super deep, and I've always remembered that.
Do you fight with your spouse?
Yes. But
Do you win?
I can't. That was the point. Is that he said you can't really win
Yeah.
because you're fighting against yourself.
I respect that.
The best piece of advice I ever got as a young man was to be the type of man that the woman of your dreams would marry, that you would want your son to grow up to be, and that you would want your daughter to grow up to marry. And
The advice was kind of long.
Yeah, but I thought I think that's great advice. And anytime anybody asks me or anything like that, that's my go-to. I give them that, and if you do that, you can become exactly the person you were meant to be.
Next question.
The other great advice I got was be the ball. So anytime I'm sporting, I think of that.
Everybody here said that they'd been in a bad car accident. Scooter says, ask me anything. Were you driving during the bad accident? No, I was not.
I was not.
I was.
I was in the back seat, and my head hit the seat in front of me, And
So it was an impact, a front.
It was
for
a
you guys,
boom.
it was a front impact.
Yeah, we hit the guy on the side, mostly on the side, and he actually left. I don't know how because it was so crazy, but he was not in the car once we stopped rolling. He had been thrown from the car, but the windshield and everything was fine, so we never really could figure that out.
Did you say that there was alcohol involved?
We don't know, but we think there was. We never found out because he went into a coma for a couple weeks and then died later. But I was not driving, and I looked the worst, though, when the ambulance showed up. They were like, oh, man, we got to take care of this guy. I had a little gash under my eye, and I just had blood all over my face. But I was fine. It was just a little cut.
Ours was a rollover accident on 55 going up to Chicago for state basketball, and we're actually driving up to Chicago for state track after the show today. But we swerved to miss an animal, and the van with my whole family in it rolled. They said the truck drivers who helped us out of the car, we ended up upside down, rolled 6 to 8 times, going 65 miles an hour, up 55. We were all okay. I have a scar on my head.
That's awesome.
My dad had some cuts on his face, and he looked like he got out of a hockey fight. The cut on my head is from when my parents went back to like clean out what was left of the car inside. The hanger that you'd put, the little hook that you'd put hangers on and stuff in the back of your car had my hair wrapped around, that it had been like pushed into the ceiling and the screw was out, and the screw had my hair wrapped around it. So that slit my head. So I've since 1997 been an anxious rider.
Yeah, that would do it.
I hit a raccoon going 75 once on 5570.
Good for you for hitting it.
Smashed it. It was like hitting a massive speed bump going 75.
Don't swerve.
I didn't. I just went at
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh, here we go.
It's easy to swerve, but don't swerve. Brad, you want to tell your car accident story?
Mine wasn't actually on the road. I used to race cars, and whenever you race cars, so that takes its situation and changes a little bit because the driving situation is more aggressive and stuff like that. So I was the only one in the car. I was driving, and it was open wheel, which means that there are no fenders or anything on these race cars. And this guy came up from behind me, and his right front tire hit my left rear. In an open wheel car, that will launch the car next to you. So it launched him up. He rolled several times. They red flagged the race and all that other stuff. Fortunately, he was okay. The thing is you kind of, like, on my end, you expect there to be accidents, bad accidents, and you do it. That's just the nature of racing. But with the 5-point seatbelt harnesses, roll cages, helmets, neck restraints, arm restraints, you are about as safe as you can be in that situation, and it kind of desensitizes you to that other thing. So whenever Annie tells me this story about her rolling over, you said 6 to 8 times, doing that is unsettling and discombobulating when you're in a race car, but you've got all that gear on. To think about doing that where you've just got the shoulder strap and the lap belt and nothing else to protect you than the structure of the car is just, the fact that nobody was seriously injured in that is a gift
Not
from
a broken
God.
bone.
Yeah, that's amazing to me.
We've got a few more questions to answer. We'll do that when we come back here. We got X's and O's at 2 o'clock, assuming that Ryan put it together for today.
What's that?
Pointe Pest Control is going to come in with us at 2 o'clock and play X's and O's. Ryan, are you ready?
Very ready.
Is it a good one?
Yeah, it's a good week.
Do we know the answers?
There's a couple that are hard. I would say it's all based on stuff from the show this week, but it's going to be a little difficult because of Wednesday.
Are they all from Wednesday?
I kind of tried to focus on Wednesday.
You jerk. He's holding out. I've been sick, and I took Wednesday off to breathe and sleep. Sorry if my cold voice has put you off a little bit. I should be back by Monday just fine. We'll take a few more questions if you want to submit them on the Annie Fry YouTube channel in the comments. You can also vote on the poll. Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Diamond Shop, they're online at thediamondshop.net. You can sign up on their website, thediamondshop.net, to be a VIP, and I highly recommend it if you have a jewelry purchase in your future because you're going to save money by being a VIP, and it's really incredibly simple to sign up for. thediamondshop.net, but you're probably going to find yourself wanting to visit them in store. They're located in Clayton, and they have a beautiful store and the very best people that are going to welcome you into the store. It is a wonderful buying experience. to work with Tom and Mona and Nikki and the team at the Diamond Shop. They're happy to see you. It doesn't matter if you're coming in to spend $50 or $50,000. They would love either one of you to walk in the door to get a gift for somebody special, like maybe a graduation gift. Watches are 20% off right now, even Movado watches. Men's jewelry is 40% off. You can save on everything else at 30% off for graduation day. I know that Mother's Day was this past Sunday, but if you're looking for something and they've got everything else in there at 30% off and you didn't maybe hit it out of the park originally, go save on the jewelry that they have in stock and become a VIP online. TheDiamondShop.net.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. We call them the Doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice in St. Louis. So if you're looking for the best doctors for your best vision, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. I had an eye disease when I was younger. It left me with a silicone buckle around my right eye, so I put my trust in Ophthalmology Associates to take care of my annual checkups. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye, allergy eyes. They can help. They can help with cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgeries. And if you're looking for the best eye care, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Make an appointment today by calling 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com. They have a great office location just west of 270 on Manchester Road. Again, the phone number, 314-966-5000. The website, youridoc.com. Ophthalmology Associates.
Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president with his seashell message of 8647? If you're catching up on the news, that is what we've been talking about today, especially
Can you
in the first
do the
hour.
seashell thing by the seashore?
She sells seashells by the seashore?
That's pretty good.
Oh, thank you. That one? I didn't even know what you were referring to.
He's been practicing this whole break.
I might have. Yes or no is the answers to the poll. Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? It's the YouTube live chat poll. It is 147. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
On-time news. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. All right. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
Okay, next question, take 2. You said you have another banger here.
It's a big one.
Oh, boy.
Did you ever play Spin the Bottle when you were in school? Truth.
I think that I was there when Spin the Bottle was being played. I don't think I never kissed anybody.
I see that you used the passive voice in that.
Yeah, I was pretty passive. I was passive there as well. I think I remember sometime in middle school being around when it was being played, and I don't remember if I like participated or not, but I never kissed anybody because of Spin the Bottle.
So the circle was there, and you were like, I'm not sitting down in that circle with that bottle.
I don't remember. I know that my inclination would have been like, get me out of here. I do not want to do this. And I don't know if I know that it didn't result in me having to kiss anybody. So I don't know if I didn't participate or if I was there and like didn't get involved.
You weren't policing them, though. You weren't telling them, you need to stop doing this.
Probably not, but maybe.
I could see you doing that.
I was an annoying friend.
Brad?
I would tell people if they were doing things that I thought that their standards and my standards were the same, and I was wrong multiple times on having the same standards as people. And my advice to my kids would be to know your standards and not bother with other people's.
I'm not as bold as that to say, no, this is wrong and you're all wrong. But I did do that with Ouija boards. Because there would be multiple
I was at a party
parties
where that was happening I know for a fact, and it's funny that you say that. I know the Ouija board was at the same party as the Spin the Bottle was, and the Ouija board was happening in the other room, and I removed myself for that. And I can't remember where the Spin the
you
Bottle.
You had to go to one room or the other, like, I guess I'll take the Spin the Bottle room.
Oh, no.
No, it was just the same party. But I did say to my, there were friends where I was like, we don't need to be doing this. We shouldn't be doing this. We're not supposed to. And I mean, like, super prude, super annoying to those other friends who were like, I want to be doing this, whatever said thing was. And I didn't do it, and I lost friends over it. And people judged me for it, and probably still kind of do. But
still now, they're like, she wouldn't even play Spin the Bottle.
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
I'm not listening to that show.
I don't know. I mean, I would say that I was a goody two-shoes from the outside looking in. I did probably overexert myself in the lives of the people who were my closest friends, where you got to a certain point in life, they decided they wanted to do things that I still didn't want to do. And I was disappointed that we had to part ways on a few particular things. But I was always kind of an anchor for them to come back to if they decided they wanted to stop doing those things. And I didn't judge them for it. I just was like, I'm not doing this. And then once you get labeled as a goody two-shoes in high school, it's kind of...
It's tough to be the salt in Salt and Light because you're the one that everybody goes, oh...
Party pooper.
Come on.
Yeah.
But then once they realize, oh, you care, then they'll come back. It's usually in private.
You called me earlier in the show an old soul. And this is the you didn't say it in a nice way, but I'm
not saying any of these things in a nice way either.
But when I was young, I was an old soul, and I had a clear understanding internally what was okay and what was not okay, and I was okay doing the thing that I thought was right and everybody else thought was wrong, and it was wildly unpopular. I don't regret it, but it wasn't easy.
I have a young soul. That's why at 3 o'clock every day I yell YOLO and I do cartwheels down the hallway.
Cartwheels is never mind. A euphemism.
It's a euphemism for me doing the thing where you stand behind a desk and you pretend you're walking down the stairs.
YOLO. What was the actual question?
I don't remember.
Spin the bottle?
Yeah.
Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I know we've had this conversation before, but I was the fat kid in school.
That doesn't mean you didn't play Spin the Bottle.
The fat kid wasn't invited to parties where Spin the Bottle was going to happen, so no.
Ryan, did you play Spin the Bottle?
That's so sad. It's so sad.
Like, don't invite that kid.
You know what's funny is only one. I'm so glad that it went this way because it was only once, and I think I was in 5th grade. That is young. And so nobody knew what was the
but
point.
was the kiss a kiss on a cheek if it happened?
I mean,
you'd play Spin the Bottle, and then everybody would be like, oh, and then you'd spin it again, and nothing would happen.
Nothing would happen,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
that's why I'm like trying to think if I was involved in it that never materialized into, like 7 Minutes in Heaven in the
I was going to say that because that was the same party. They're going, oh, next we're playing 7 Minutes in Heaven. I'm in 5th grade. I'm super naive, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
You're super naive and you're 53.
I'm not 53. That's not even funny. I'm like 1 year older than you.
It's like dog years.
But I remember the 7 Minutes in Heaven thing. And again, so young that I literally went into a closet.
With a girl?
Yeah. And then I was like, this isn't heaven because this is boring. And she was like, I agree. Nobody knew what in the world was going on. It was, looking back, it was so innocent and actually pretty great.
You know how innocent all that was. If you caught your 5th grade kids doing this, what would you do?
Oh, I would slap them. You're going straight to bed.
Violence.
Yep.
Alone.
And I'm taking away your bed. You're going to sleep on the floor from now on.
You ever taken the door off the hinges in your house of your kids' room?
Seems kind of extreme, but no.
Yeah, me neither. Just one of my children.
Huh.
He got it back. I mean, they.
They. Does he go by they?
No. Now I gotta say, he does not.
Okay.
Sorry, Charlie.
It
was years ago.
I was going to ask the same question about 7 Minutes in Heaven of Brad, but I just don't have the heart.
Again.
You just brought it up. That is heartless.
Again.
Next question, Brad. Ask something mean about Ryan.
What's it like being bald?
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Not fully bald. Like I'll claim that, but
Yeah, you got a beard.
that does not count. Even I think that logic was dumb.
Ryan, he was quick on the draw on that
He
one.
was quick. You know why? Because he's had this story about baldness for a week, and he keeps bringing it up.
I'm super excited about that story, though.
I'm excited about that story.
I would be,
they might have
too.
cured it. Put a little paste on there and go to bed.
Would you wear a toupee?
No. But I would do hair transplant.
Yeah.
And I would use this paste if it becomes a thing.
Have you seen some of the new toupees out there, though? They're really good. And if I was in that situation, I'd absolutely wear one.
If Brad were in your situation.
What are you looking at all these toupees for?
It's just
You?
seen it.
That's not something
it's
that
coming
commonly
across
comes
my
up.
Saving
feed
for your
in the
birthday.
I'm looking for something nice to do for
He's
you,
going to
man.
get you a toupee for your birthday.
Dude, if you do, you better not spend much. Get the cheapest one made of dog hair you can find.
Scooter says you have a very hairy chest, Ryan. I didn't know that. Why does he?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were that close.
It's out there.
Next question? Or do we wrap?
I don't know. I really do. There are times that I know I'm doing radio and others that I'm like, I think that I am not sure what to think about that segment. And this is one of those. How about this one? Do you care if there's only a tiny bit of custard in your donut? That's not a euphemism. Because it makes me mad.
Ender says, ask me anything. Will the AFS ever go a full week without one awkward pause where Ryan forgets to jump in with his time check? Ryan.
No.
We'll never make it a week?
Well, once the time check isn't sponsored anymore, then yes.
Let's keep it sponsored.
Okay.
You need to be more on the ball.
No, that'll never happen.
All right, when we come back, X's and O's with our friends from Pointe Pest Control. We're going to have John and Steve in here, the service manager and the wildlife manager. See if he can get Ryan under control. X's and O's next. Don't go away.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-973-9819. And you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9819. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-9819.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team and get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The House Budget Committee is now expected to reconvene Sunday night to resume work on the president's Big Beautiful Bill after failing to pass the budget resolution out of committee today. 5 Republicans joining Democrats to vote against it. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise telling reporters
President Trump wants to get this bill moved through the process as quickly as possible to make sure it gets on his desk in July. So do we. We would like to have that process move even quicker if it's possible.
Some conservatives want more spending cuts and for some cost-saving measures to take effect sooner, including work requirements for some Medicaid recipients, not expected to begin until the year 2029 in the current proposal. The bill would also make the 2017 tax cuts permanent. President Trump says not passing it will amount to a massive tax hike, urging Republicans earlier today to unite. A manhunt continues after 11 prisoners escaped from a jail in New Orleans around midnight, though it wasn't discovered until more than 8 hours later. Some of the escapees accused of murder and attempted murder.
They are all men, and they are considered armed and dangerous. The escapees discovered missing during a routine head count at 8:30 this morning. But authorities there did not alert the public for at least 2 hours that they were on the loose.
Fox's Eric Shawn, officials pledging a full investigation, but the focus for now is on finding the inmates. At least one has been captured, with officials earlier reporting a second person in custody, but not yet identified. For the first time, a Mexican national is indicted in the U.S. on charges of providing material support to a cartel designated as a foreign terrorist organization. The Justice Department citing Texas court documents saying a 39-year-old Mexican woman, Maria Navarro Sanchez, is accused of conspiring with others to provide grenades to one of the cartels designated as terrorists by the Trump administration in February. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, MRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
While Pacific cool front moving in and setting the stage for scattered strong to severe thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon. Let's really pay attention to the skies. Some of these things could produce damaging winds and large hail. But it's all gone tonight. After 7 o'clock, we're clear. Clear skies overnight, windy and 59. Saturday, sunny, breezy, and cooler. 78. Sunday, partly sunny, 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, May 20th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about the market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton on Tuesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Let's up, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And that is Ryan Wiggins' version of the Annie Fry Show intro, which means it's Friday and it's 2:07, which means it's also time for X's and O's. And my friends, my dear friends at Pointe Pest Control are in studio with us. John Hoagland, the service manager, and Steve Bickle, the wildlife manager from Pointe Pest Control. Hi, guys.
Hi, Annie.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Wildlife manager, Steve. What kind of wildlife?
Well, we're looking mostly at raccoons and squirrels, but we deal with moles, snakes, bats, all kinds of other things.
So you hear a rattling in the top of your garage or something like that, people can call Point?
That could be a problem, but yes, they can give us a call and we'll come out and take a look and see what's going on.
What's the craziest thing you found in a crazy place? You got a good story?
Too many stories,
yeah?
But the raccoons and squirrels can do a lot of damage on the soffits and fascia and rip open the roofs and stuff like that. So there's so much crazy stuff that goes on out there that I couldn't even possibly begin start to tell you.
So, Steve, you're the wildlife manager. Are you still a guy who goes out and wrangles these things yourself, or do you get to tell other people to do that?
No, I absolutely go do a lot of the work myself, and I always enjoy getting out and meeting the people and seeing what kind of problems they have. So,
aren't you okay? Total girl question here. Aren't you scared? I would be like, ah! Every time it would move, it would just freak me out. That's why I would call Steve in Pointe Pest Control to take care of my problem, which I have done before. Does anything spook you? Anything like you're a snake guy? Like,
well, sometimes when you get up in the attics with raccoons or squirrels or who knows what's going to be up there, sometimes it does get a little bit nerve-wracking. But the adrenaline starts to flow, and and everything usually turns out okay. So,
it's kind of like my job.
Far.
Have you ever been called out for an animal and then been looking for it, and you're like, oh no, that's a guy?
A human in the eye?
Yeah.
I have not had that problem yet.
Okay, well, that's probably good.
You're so weird.
That would be scary.
That would be scary.
And we use rechargeable flashlights, or rechargeable flashlights will just go out on you without any notice at all. So it's not fun being in an attic and your flashlight goes out.
So John has actually been out to my house to help me with my spider problem, and it's been an amazing experience. 2 years spider-free. I just recently saw another spider. My kids saw one, and so they're going to come out and handle that for me hopefully soon. I got to get my act together. But John, right now, I know that there are a few things that are manifesting themselves in the springtime. Mosquitoes for sure. I've been bitten by mosquitoes several times already. But also termites and ants are out and about right now. Is that right?
Yes, they're the three pests that are keeping our phones ringing the most right now. That clover mites too are out and about.
What's
the little tiny red bugs.
Oh, that's what those are.
Okay.
Oh man, I saw a ton of those
very,
last
very
Sunday.
small.
What do they do?
They get all over everything.
Like inside?
What's that?
Inside? In the house?
Inside, yeah.
Super nuisance pest.
Yeah.
No, we had them. We went out hiding stuff. I guess this was after Easter. This is a ridiculous. That's a crazy way to start a story. This was church. I was teaching Sunday school.
It's getting weirder.
And we I think it was the week after Easter, and we still had Easter eggs to hide. So we went out and we were hiding those things, but there were those little red bugs all over that stuff.
Do they leave red behind if you kill them?
They will. They'll smear red.
Oh.
So if it's on your paper there and you kill it, you'll have a red smear across your paper.
What do you do to get rid of them?
A lot of heavy treating on the exterior.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, at Pointe Pest Control, I am a very, very happy and satisfied customer myself. A reminder, if you reach out to Pointe Pest Control and mention my name, you're going to save an extra 10%. You can call them at 636-798-0023. I think you had them out as well.
Well, I was just talking to John actually before we started. We need to get John back out again because we saw a couple of spiders. It's been a year, and we need the treatment because we didn't have anything after you guys came out last time, and now it's spring again. And
Have you ever told them about your raccoons that you talk to? Are they possums?
No, they're raccoons, and I don't talk to them in the sense.
Is the relationship too personal now? You don't want to call
Steve, have you ever
the
had
wildlife manager
somebody tell you a story about a guy walking out into his garage in the middle of the night because he was getting water in his basement and he was going to go bail it out, but there happened to be a raccoon in his trash can?
It's a bad night.
And then he screamed real loud, and the neighbors woke up because he wasn't expecting the raccoon in the trash can at that moment.
I hate to say it, Ryan, but I've heard many similar stories.
Good.
Yeah. Don't make him think he's normal.
See?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's X's and O's time. It's Hollywood Squares Andy Fry Show style. So this is where I turn it over to Ryan. Ryan, you can set up the game for us so we can get started.
All right. This is X's and O's. We have a board up in the studio of 9 squares. Of course, that is a tic-tac-toe board, and you guys will be playing against each other. Each square has a number on it, 1 through 9. Each one of those squares has a corresponding question. And you will each, just like the game, you'll say, okay, I want this square, but then I'll ask the question. You pick either Annie or Brad to answer that question. You simply agree or disagree for the square. If you get a tic-tac-toe, we don't stop. We keep playing. We fill out the whole board. So there can be ties in a sense because you can get multiple tic-tac-toes, but then it would go to total number of X's or O's for the win. So that's how we play. And do we determine who goes first?
John's going to.
John's going to go first.
And
John
I'm
is X's. Okay, and then we get the drummer in here, and then the things start to get real. There he is.
Things start to get real. I don't think these guys are afraid of anything.
I don't either.
It's kind of intimidating.
What's the biggest animal you've ever had to put down or whatever?
Put down?
I don't know.
Relocate.
Some of those raccoons get pretty big, and coyotes sometimes.
Wow, coyotes.
Ooh, okay.
But
Groundhogs get pretty big.
Oh, groundhogs! I got a call for a groundhog on the way
Which are
down
the
here.
sassiest?
It's eating a garden and eating somebody's garden and living under their front porch. So
Yeah.
I have to go deal with that later today.
Kind of a nice life.
Well, until he shows
No,
up.
for the groundhog.
Yeah, for the groundhog.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's like heaven.
All right, John, which square would you like to start with here?
I'll go with 5.
In the middle?
Yeah, why not?
Brad
Number
or me?
5. Brad or Annie answer this question.
You get to
You
pick
get to
which
choose.
one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brad or
I'll
Annie?
go with Annie.
Okay.
Okay, Annie, this is a guest quote.
This is a guest quote.
On Wednesday,
Oh, you jerk.
a certain guest on the show gave us this memorable quote. Oh, Brad, it's a great question, and thanks, guys, for putting up with this horrible cold or whatever I have going on right now. It's going around. You're in St. Louis, I'm in Jersey, but it's airborne, no question.
Joe Concha? I know he was on because I wanted to talk to him. But I didn't know he had a cold, too.
Agree or disagree, John?
John, Joe
I
Concha,
agree.
question mark.
You agree that was Joe Concha. Here's the answer.
Oh, Brad, it's a great question.
Yeah,
And thanks, guys.
he's
for
got the X
putting
in
up with
there
this
already.
Horrible cold or whatever I have going on right now.
That's what Annie's got, too. That's why she's not here, so.
I am.
Oh, Annie, too. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
It's going around. You're in
that
St.
was
Louis,
from
I'm in Jersey, but this thing is airborne, no question. So sorry if my voice is a little bit
Sorry, I was gonna
off,
argue with
but,
you.
It's part of the guest quote.
I wasn't looking. I wasn't
wasn't
at you.
talking just
I
now.
didn't know you weren't talking. Well, I'm glad I knew Joe Concha was on that day. Good job, John.
Yep. All right. Good job. You got the center square there with an X. And now, Steve, it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to go with number 9.
Number 9. You guys know how to play tic-tac-toe.
Bottom right. These guys are pros.
All right.
What?
Number 9.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a strategy.
There's strategy for sure. Who's answering, Brad or Annie?
Let's go with Brad this time.
Let's do this.
Okay,
Is
Brad.
that part of the strategy?
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a strategy.
Brad, McDonald's is in the news both because of a mobile McDonald's greeting Trump in Saudi Arabia and because they're hiring hundreds of thousands of new employees this summer. McDonald's estimates that 1 out of every blank Americans has worked for McDonald's in their lifetime.
Ooh.
1 out of every how many Americans?
This is tough because you said we should make this a poll question to see if it holds true. But I struggled because I was doing other producer things. But I think it was 1 in 8.
1 in 8. Steve, do you agree? 1 in 8 is what McDonald's estimates that how many Americans have worked for McDonald's in their life.
That number just doesn't sound right. I'm going to disagree.
You're going to disagree. Unfortunately, Brad was correct.
It is 1 in 8.
That
Have
is
either
what-
of you two worked at McDonald's in your lifetime?
I have.
Oh,
There we go.
have you?
I've worked for them, not at them.
Oh, I understand. So that would make it 1 in 8.
Yeah.
Because you're
Of
the
the
last
people
two.
that we
we all asked
polled,
6. We asked
that-
8 people.
Yeah.
It's 1 in 8.
Wow.
Did you work there?
No, none of us did.
No.
None of-
But we
okay.
have people who've worked in fast food, but not specifically McDonald's.
Does Kamala count?
No, I don't think she worked there. That's what I understand.
Yeah, she didn't go there.
Yeah. All right, so 9, you get a circle there,
No,
and then
an X.
X, excuse me.
For
yeah.
number 9.
And then it's John's turn.
All right, John.
I'll go with Brad this time.
Okay.
And which
Brad,
square?
square
Oh, I'm
number.
sorry. I'll go with number 1.
Okay.
Number 1. All right, Brad, you have found the first audio whoopee of the day.
Whoopee.
This is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talking about trade deals.
The delegation basically told us that once President Biden came into office, they just ignored their obligations.
All right, which nation beeped there told him that they ignored Biden for 4
man.
years?
Well, that has to be China. The Chinese delegation said that.
All right, John, disagree or agree?
Could have been anybody.
It really could have.
I think I'll disagree.
I think you'll disagree. Here is the answer.
Chose not to enforce it. The Chinese delegation basically told
it's
us
a
that
circle
once
against a square
President Biden
in number
came into
1.
office, they just ignored their obligations. So
All right, he was on the verge of a tic-tac-toe,
Yeah, he was.
and now there's a block. And now it's back to Steve.
All right, we're going to go with square 7.
Square 7, who is answering for you?
Annie's going to this time.
Okay.
All right.
Annie, you and Steve have stumbled into AI. This is a real clip from somebody saying this through the week, but I have run it through AI, so it won't sound like that person. Tell me who said this.
Turn off for me. Can't swim. If you can't swim, honey. I mean, the Earth is 80% water. So.
I had to go around some cuss words.
Theo Vaughn. My boy. Theo Vaughn. That's my final
Steve,
answer.
agree or
I'm going to
disagree?
agree with
Yeah.
Annie. She sounds pretty confident about this.
Here is the real clip.
Turn off for me. Can't swim. If you can't swim, honey, I mean, the Earth is 80% water. So.
We were talking about the baby videos.
I ain't
that are
nobody's
out
floaty.
there. Yeah, but he cusses, so I couldn't go further.
All right. Circle in 7 was that?
Circle in 7.
All right, John.
Is correct. This is a wild game.
This is a good game.
Yeah. Where are you going to go?
All right, John.
I guess I'll go with Brad again this time.
Okay. And which number?
Number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, what am I doing? Number
Wait
4.
A minute. Number 4.
You can change it.
Yeah, that's fine. Number 4 with Brad. Steve's like, no, you can't.
There's the competitiveness.
He's getting his wildlife management stuff out right now.
All right, number 4 is another audio whoopee. Whoopee. We talked extensively about Jake Tapper's new book and the media cover-up of Biden's health, playing clips like this of Jake Tapper.
False claims to the Wall Street Journal about President Biden's mental fitness and acuity.
Okay, so he actively took part in the cover-up and then wrote a book about it. What is the 2-word name of Jake Tapper's book?
Oh, this is Original Sin is the name of his book.
He seems confident.
I'll agree.
That is correct. That is the name of the book. So, what do we have here? You got the corners, John.
You got the block.
Oh, you got the block.
Yeah.
You got the block.
I almost had corners.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Boy, this is a good game.
Yeah, it is.
Anytime usually if somebody misses one, it really skews it, but then it went right back. So, all right, Steve, back to you.
Well, I've got to block him on 6.
Yes, you do. Number 6, and who's answering that for you?
Annie's going 2 again.
All right, Annie.
Yeah.
Ben & Jerry's, the founder of Ben & Jerry's, was arrested for an outburst as he yelled out in protest of Israel's actions in Gaza at Robert F. Kennedy's HHS budget hearing. And even he said, it didn't really have anything to do with Bobby Kennedy. Because I asked him, what are you doing? Which of these is not a Ben & Jerry's flavor?
Oh, man.
A, chocolate therapy. B, Netflix and chilled. Or C, pistachio green energy.
Pistachio green energy. You tried too hard on that one.
I'm going to agree.
You reached for that bell a little too soon.
You know him pretty well.
Yeah.
I was having trouble coming up with a fake one.
Yeah.
That sounded like
I can't
Ben
believe
and
it.
Jerry's.
Yeah.
Pistachio green
When
energy.
you said chocolate therapy, I'm like, that's Ben & Jerry's for sure.
It definitely is. And Netflix and chilled is too. I don't even know what flavor that
I
is.
don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Another block.
It's a good game. John, are we back to you?
Yeah, I'll go Annie, number 2.
Okay.
Number 2. All right, Annie. Tuesday, we talked about slang that Gen Z is using. And one of the terms we all learned, including Ethan, was Allah, A-L-A, which means what?
Oh, crap. Did not retain that information.
You weren't using it the rest of the week?
No.
It's a loose definition. You don't have to get it exact.
I'm struggling even coming up with a concept. It means darn it.
It means darn it.
I'll disagree with you.
It's very confident.
That's a pretty good move,
Yeah.
and that is correct.
What
because
did
she
it
was
mean?
incorrect. It just means good, great, nice, upstanding.
How do you spell it?
A-L-A.
Nah, I think
None
they're-
of us knew why.
Gen Zs are
Yeah,
weirdos.
it's hard to make that
I've never even
connection.
heard anybody say or use that.
I think Bert used to do it on Sesame Street. Outlaw peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh.
There you go.
Steve,
Do I
circle
get a
gets the square.
bonus square there?
Yeah, you get an next bonus
Just
square.
pick one.
Steve, it is your turn, isn't it?
Yes, going for number 8, please.
Number 8.
FR on
For the
YouTube
block.
says that Allah is in the style of, I thought, but that's what it really means. That's not what Gen Z makes
I
it.
have no
We don't
idea.
understand the Gen Z application. Again.
All right, number 8. Who's answering?
We're going to go with Brad.
All right.
Brad, Trump is doing a big regalia tour through the Middle East, securing investments of around $3 to $4 trillion in the process as he meets with Arab leaders. What are the 3 Middle Eastern nations he visited this week?
Oh, man. So he started off in Saudi Arabia, and then he flew to, I think it's Qatar or whatever it is, and then from there he went to Abu Dhabi, but that's the city, so is that the United Arab Emirates? So Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE are my 3.
I agree.
Oh, you guys, good job. Yeah, very good.
It's kind of offensive how shocked Ryan is every week when we know these answers. Every week's like,
he's like,
wow,
man, I thought I had him stumped.
I always try to keep my expectations low, so you're always exceeding them.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I expect nothing from you.
All right, we got one square
It's
left.
all going to come down to this square. We
It's
love it when this happens.
4 to 4. No tic-tac-toes on the board. Whoever gets this square wins the match.
Okay.
And
I'll
it's
do
John's
3 with Brad.
3 with Brad for all the donuts.
All the donuts.
You have stumbled into AI.
AI.
This is a real clip from the week. Run through AI. Tell me who said this.
So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
Is this AI or is this the actual clip?
That's Jasmine
Who's that?
Crockett. That's Jasmine Crockett.
He's right.
Let's find out.
So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
There you go. And that's a winner.
Man, it said, you know what? I was like, uh-oh.
5 to 4. Good job, guys. This is a
Good
very
game.
close game. Good game. Will you come back and do it again? We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, it's pointepestcontrol.com. It's Point with an E. My favorite people because they keep the bugs out of my house and the wild animals too, which you should absolutely reach out to them. Missouri and Illinois alike, if you have any sort of pest problems. I keep trying to get them to get rid of Ryan, but they haven't figured it out yet.
That's why I asked the question about a person. If they ever found a person in somebody's
They're
attic.
like, oh, we're not in that business. And you're like,
He's a protected species.
there you go. Steve, John, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Hey, this is radio station WSKEE. We're taking calls on the wish line, making your wacky wishes come true.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I wish I was like 6'9" so I could get with Leo. She don't know me.
So you guys talked on Wednesday a lot about the Tapper book with Joe Biden.
Yeah, we did.
General consensus? What were your thoughts?
I mean, no hot takes or anything. The guy's just such a hypocrite. We had so many clips of him defending Biden starting in 2020, but right up until 2024. So it's the same stuff as everybody's kind of seeing all at the same time.
Did we ever pull any clips on Bill Belichick? Ever?
I haven't.
No,
No.
I'm super disinterested in the story. Do you know the Bill Belichick's, like, the reason why he's being talked about a lot lately?
He's dating a really young woman.
Like a 24-year-old girl.
Is that the thing?
But
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It kind of seems like she's in charge of the whole situation, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding that.
People are kind of wondering if he's making his own decisions, if she's taking advantage of him.
Oh, weird.
He's in his 70s.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think she's at least 50 years younger than he is.
Yeah. I think she's in her 20s.
Yeah, I just said she's 24.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do the math well. Listen, I married a math teacher, so I didn't have to.
We'll get her here.
Terry, how much younger is Bill Belichick's girlfriend than him? I know you're in the middle of school right now, but hang on.
So I was thinking about this on the way in because I'm annoyed every time this is taking up like real news conversation, the Bill Belichick stuff. But the underlying conversation around the whole thing is a curiosity if she's taking advantage of him, if he's making poor decisions. And there are age comments and age differential comments. People are more concerned in the media about Bill Belichick's mental capacity and decision-making than they were the president of the United States. To consider that Bill Belichick might be in his 70s, be a little bit off his game and making good decisions by dating a 24-year-old who's helping with all the business decisions that he's making with whatever it is his empire includes. People are questioning, that dude's worth a lot of money. People are questioning the decisions he's making and wondering if he's got all his faculties about him to be, like, people are looking at him going, what are you doing, dude? And we keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I'm sitting here going, we didn't have a fraction of this curiosity about the president of the United States from the agenda-driven media for the entirety of the time that Biden was running for office to be the president in 2020, and then the time that he was in office. And then all of a sudden, now Jake Tapper's got this book out. The thing that is the most offensive is that he is profiting off of the thing. He is the arsonist and the firefighter in this scenario completely. And people like us in our little teeny tiny corner of the world here on the Annie Fry Show in 97.1 were saying the entire time that obviously that he's not in his best he doesn't have his best foot forward, that he's not in a position to manage the office of the presidency. You know, I would honestly say that we were kind to Joe Biden on this show specifically. I won't speak for anybody else anywhere, but I felt so bad for Joe Biden, and I really had a frustration with Jill Biden, and I called her out more than I called out Joe himself for the family putting him through this ridiculousness and using him to access the power that the American people were handing over as proxy through Joe Biden to no-name people. That it's so frustrating to see people want to drum up a story. I don't give two hoots about Bill Belichick and his 50-year junior girlfriend. I don't care. I don't care what happens to Bill Belichick's money. I don't care what happens to Bill Belichick's business, his empire, his legacy. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the 24-year-old girlfriend. There are hopefully people surrounding Bill Belichick that will help him make good decisions if he needs somebody to lean into it. Why did we not have the same sort of interest and curiosity about Joe Biden? But we all know the answer to it. And the answer is what pisses me off the most.
What's weird is that for 4 years, and especially early on when it was pretty obvious to everybody that he had some problems, but everybody was burying it, and it was, oh, no, it's just a stutter and all that stuff.
Oh, boy. Is that on the air? It's on the air, right?
That's our phones.
So the weather alarms are going off for us over in Illinois.
Yeah, we're running an EAS alert right now.
Okay.
So are we on?
Hello. I can't hear.
If we are, we don't know.
Like the EAS alert light is up.
Well, let me just finish this point then, and if we are, we are. The weird thing is that it might be for the podcast then. The weird thing is that with the making fun of Biden stuff, obviously I do a ton of comedy stuff and bits, and we can write stuff, and we also freewheel, and we could have easily made fun of Biden because it was low-hanging fruit, but we actually chose not to because it was too easy. And so the point being, if it was too easy to make fun of the president's mental acuity, that so much so that we didn't want to do it because it was bad jokes, then why would the media not have been able to pick that up? It was so obvious that we didn't do it because we thought it was too easy. So the whole 4 years, and it obviously got worse and worse and worse and worse,
right,
for them to not pick it up until there started to be cracks in the facade of their coverage, which they didn't even really completely go into until after the debate. Then they finally started asking questions. And it wasn't because, we all know this, it wasn't because they were surprised by it. It was because they knew at that point he couldn't win. So now it's okay to ask questions because we're the offensive line here, and we've been protecting him for so long, but now even we can't do it.
But he got sacked anyway, and he wasn't a really good quarterback, so let's just turn on him now. So anyway.
So that was finally the moment that they turned and said, I think we can finally let this narrative go. So, all right, we'll take a short break. We're trying to figure out what's going on, whether we're on or off. We're watching these storms, and we're talking to our meteorologist, too, to see if he can join us. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I tell them scat, skittles, the Bible. Got hit with a bottle, was in a hospital for talking that mess.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit LakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are watching this weather for you, and we will give you every update that we get. Of course, if you are west of the city, you are already experiencing it. If you're downtown, you're probably right up on it now. And then if you're in Illinois, it's coming your way. So we'll keep watching this, and we're talking to Dave Murray, trying to get him to join us here shortly. Right now, the YouTube live chat poll, did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? Let us know what you think by joining us on YouTube. And by the way, if we get an what's it called? EAS alert?
Yeah.
The emergency alert. We will still be online, but that will interrupt the on-air broadcast. So that's how that works. So we were kind of scrambling there. We will continue to do so until 3 o'clock when Mark Reardon takes over because this weather is pretty intense. 2:40 now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. She was charmingly pretty. She held him up and he held her for ransom in the heart of the cold, cold city. He had a nasty reputation as a cruel dude. They said he was ruthless. They said he was cruel. They had one thing in common. They were good in bed. She'd say, faster, faster. The lights are turning red.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Life in the fast lane. Yeah, the weather is getting rowdy here in our area. Make sure that you have your eyes on the skies and are staying aware of the situation. We have reached out to Dave Murray. If we don't get in contact with him, I'm sure the Mark Reardon Show will be working to try to do that as well to make sure that we are aware of the weather that is in our area now. We've had some tornado warnings around the listening area, so I want to make sure that you are very aware of what's going on. Please pay attention to all of that, and we will cover it as we continue to get news and updates. So earlier in the show, we talked about the YouTube live chat poll. Did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? That's the poll that we have going on right now on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat. And Brad, I'm going to ask you this question right now. We're going to get Ryan back in here. He's checking on some stuff here for us to try to cover the weather. But Brad, your thoughts on James Comey's intention? He posts this photo from Instagram, and he just talks about casually walking past seashells on the seashore that say 8647, and then he goes, "Oh, I didn't know that meant violence," or people perceived it as that. You think he meant that intentionally?
Yeah, I think that he did have intention behind it. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he of all people as former director of the FBI, knows what kind of people are out there, what kind of people might hear that, and how people might react to that. Does he have somebody specific in mind that he's thinking about? No. But, we saw over the summer that, Donald Trump was nearly assassinated twice. And then I hear all the excuses out there. Oh, it was a military code for going AWOL. It's a restaurant code. It means to take it off the menu. It's all of these things. But it all comes back to one thing: get rid of. And that's what's open to interpretation here. What are we trying to get rid of, and what method are we using to get rid of? 86 something off the menu of a restaurant, sure, but you're talking about toasted raviolis, you're not talking about a person. How do you get rid of them? Well, oh, no, we just mean impeachment. Yeah, but do the people that, snuck up to his golf course and waited in ambush of him, was he looking to just get rid of him and impeach him? Or are there people out there, which if you've paid attention to anybody online, you've seen that there are, in fact, people out there that see him as an existential threat, and that any possible way that they should get rid of him, they'll do it, and all they need is just that little nudge. Is that what Comey had in mind? I don't know, but I know that he knows the ramifications of what he said. So on this poll, I'm voting yes, and I'm voting yes as many times as I possibly can.
Ryan, do you feel like when we talked about this earlier in the show, I said there's a difference between thinking that James Comey intentionally knew exactly what he was doing, and him actually being somebody who was looking to inflict violence, or actually think he's going to go and follow through with that. The poll question is: did James Comey intentionally threaten the president? Yes or no? What do you think?
So I'm parsing out the words here, because James Comey intentionally, yes. His defense that, I didn't really know, it's either he didn't put the shells there or something ridiculous like that, or 86. I mean, this could mean anything. I'm not saying he's out there saying that, but that could be a defense for him. Those are stupid. He definitely intentionally knew what he was doing when he put it there. But is he intentionally threatening the president is the question. I'm actually a no on that question, because I think he thought that he was doing press and that he was doing something that might be considered funny that would gin up interest in his book, which actually has done. So it was intentional, but I don't know that he was actually threatening the president. The one person, now we had a caller earlier who in the 12 o'clock hour said this, and I thought that's actually a really good point, that he may not have been intentionally threatening the president directly, but floating something out there that maybe this becomes an internet thing. Maybe saying 8647 becomes code for nut jobs to go and maybe try something now because they got emboldened by the former FBI director. I really could see that.
It's really just not something, to me, it's just not something that you can be on the other side of the aisle and say about the left and get away with. You certainly wouldn't have in the last 4 years. It's like if we're playing by the rules that were set by the former administration, I just don't see how, I don't see how you can look at this and think that it's just innocuous and he just was like an oopsie poopsie, didn't know that this was going to be inflammatory in some way, shape, or form. I just don't buy that. And James Comey kind of has this smug way about himself where he does things and he presents himself in a specific kind of way, and we're just supposed to be like, oh, he didn't know. Not James Comey. He's such a great guy. And then, of course, the most important that's our building on the camera right now. The most important part of the story is he's got a book coming out May 20th. And that's the part of all of this that makes me just go, you've got a book coming out. You put this out there. I don't know. I have the worst expectations for people who have been on that side of the swamp for so long. And his book is a fiction book based on the experience that he has.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll pull it back up here. But the book is one that is like a novel that is a second. It says former
FBI director Rames Romey
no
spills the tea.
It says it's called FDR Drive, a crime novel. Former FBI Director Comey reunites the protagonists of his first two legal thrillers for his strongest outing yet.
What?
U.S. Attorney Carmen Garcia. I'm going to be mad if I sell this book to anybody. U.S. Attorney Carmen Garcia is trying to take down Samuel Buchanan, a far-right media personality with a popular podcast vilifying those he thinks are destroying America. Intellectuals, immigrants, and people of color.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like reading this going, is this a joke? Did I miss the joke?
It sounds like one.
Garcia believes Buchanan went far beyond the protection of the First Amendment when he singled out his enemies by name and suggested something should be done about them.
What?
His fans have obliged killing or grievously injuring some of his foes. In a series of tense and exhilarating courtroom scenes, Garcia works with Deputy U.S. Attorney Nora Carlton to bring Buchanan down. Then, just as they've convicted him, a new threat emerges. Some of his followers have planned an act of terror at an upcoming UN convention. Comey is ripped from the headlines plot, which, with its focus on Nora's hand-wringing about following legal and constitutional protocol, is easy to read as a bit of self-reflection. Never loses steam. This proves that Comey, the crime novelist, is here to stay.
I'm not reading that crap. I'm reading Original Sin.
I'm not reading that crap. You should get that as a byline in this book.
Ryan Wiggins.
If James Comey said about the grocery list, I'm not reading that crap, you'd print it.
Oh, heck yeah, I would.
You would print that for sure.
I never told this story, but I started getting quotes. Before I got Jack Handy, I thought, what am I going to get quotes from? I started reaching out to the entire cast of Growing Pains. I was going to get as many of the people from Growing Pains as I could to either endorse or not endorse my book. And I still have a couple. I got one from Tracy Gold.
What did she say?
She just said something about, like, oh, yeah, this book sounds funny. And, like it's just a generic quote about a book. And I was like, this is great. I was going to get the kid that played Ben. I don't remember his name. See if I get Kirk Cameron, Alan Thicke.
Let's do this real quick. Hopefully Ethan's out there. I'm going to open the phones, and we've got about 6 minutes left before we got to wrap and hand it over to the Mark Reardon Show. I'd like to get weather reports from people.
That'd
if there's
be great.
anything that is wild, I don't know if we'll be able to fit any in time, but if you call us at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, let me know what you're experiencing. A lot of what is keying in on the weather channels that we're watching. We have on 4 and 2 right now in the room. We'd have 5 on if we changed that TV. We could totally do that as well. But it's like they're showing our building on there.
Well, it's the majority
I don't appreciate
of it.
that.
It looks like it's slightly north of the city. I mean, not that the city's not getting anything, but the really bad stuff looks like it's a little bit north of downtown. So if you're in Granite City right now, Ferguson.
Well, I mean, the action is taking place just west of downtown St. Louis, and they're pointing between Richmond Heights and U City, and then it's moving out the way you were kind of explaining, which is like my pathway home. So
yes, it is.
I will have to figure out how to navigate this sucker. I don't like being en route. I have to drive to Chicago today, so I hope that this stuff is not like gonna go up 55 with me.
Well, as we've been standing here watching the radar, it looks like it's really fast moving. So I don't know exactly how long this will take to get through, but I doubt it's going to last a long time. It's just really intense, the line that's moving.
You've had an O'Fallon several storm situations, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm still dealing with the after effects of the March 14th storm. We're still working on trying to get new siding back on our house. We got a new roof, so I hope this doesn't have a lot of hail and goes for my home.
Yeah.
But,
Man, how many people got new roofs just recently that are going, are you kidding
there
me?
are still construction crews and contractor crews in my neighborhood.
Let's get to Daryl. Daryl, I think, is out near the airport. Daryl, what are you experiencing with the weather right now?
So I was at the airport making a drop-off, Uber driver, and I was lucky to hide up under the viaduct at Southwest. Bad hailstorm, and looks like the hail has passed. I'm now moving on 70 West, headed out towards St. Charles, and it's clearing up this way. It looks like it's all headed downtown or east.
Yeah. Okay. So you're safe, Daryl?
I'm safe.
All right. Well, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Let's get to Greg. Greg, thanks for calling 314-241-9797 if anyone wants to sneak in here before we wrap and hand it to Mark Reardon. Greg, what do you experience?
Well, I'm probably having to get a new car. I was going up 170 from 40 to 70. and it just came down, and there was no place to go. Just stuck on the highway, and my car just got riddled like no belief.
Yeah.
But luckily, like I said, the other gentleman, I got onto 70, and it's cleared going towards St. Charles and St. Charles Rock Road now, so it's all headed towards St. Louis.
Do you have an estimation on how big the hail was that was hitting your car?
It was at least the size of a marble, if not bigger.
Mm.
It was just, it came down hard. And like I said, 2 years ago, I got my house totaled, whole exterior, everything out in Wentzville. And I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to do this again. But now I'm in a car and probably have to get a new car now.
Greg, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for calling, and stay safe. We appreciate the input.
All right, have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gosh, that's the freaking
What
worst.
a spring this has been.
Man.
The amount of rain that we've got. This is just going to be more rain, too, on top of the hail.
Rain and storms and more rain.
And this does look like the line. Well, the two people we just heard from, that's in that line that's 270-ish, north 270, that's getting the worst of it, and north of here, where we're downtown.
It's interesting because I'm looking out at the park across the street, and I can see some large tree branches on the ground.
Already?
In the park, yeah. And it
That's
didn't,
a big tree branch.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it got super, super windy here, but...
It seems like it's almost calmer now than it was before, like maybe it breezed through.
I don't think this thing's going to last a long time, but when it goes through, it's going to hit.
Yeah. We got to wrap in a couple minutes here. We got one more phone call coming in, 314-241-9797 if you want to hustle. The YouTube live chat poll, I'm going to give the results to that right now before we wrap in case we do take the calls up to the break. I'm going to pull it up here first. The YouTube live chat poll is, did James Comey intentionally threaten the president, yes or no? And we got 257 votes on a Friday, which is pretty good for us. 84% of the people say, yes, he intentionally threatened the president. I just don't look at anything. James Comey is not accidentally making statements. Mm-hmm. And he would certainly understand the gravity of what he's saying. And if you're trying to drum up, I wish I could have seen more people. I wish I could have seen more people who were reacting to this morning in the morning news, talking about the book coming out. And it's almost like, are you not talking about the book because you don't want to do the thing about the book? Or is it still the same? You know, whether you mention the book or don't mention the book.
It does change it for me.
Yeah.
The book.
Real quick here. Eric, thank you for calling in the Annie Fry Show. You're in Edwardsville right now?
Yes.
What are you experiencing over there with the weather?
Heavy downpour so far. I just left Edwardsville heading 270 west, and it is extremely dark skies up to the southwest area from here. Getting ready to pass the Wood River exit, and it's pretty bad over here.
All right. Well, stay safe. Get into cover if you need to instead of driving.
Absolutely.
Take care, and we appreciate you, Eric. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
No problem. Thanks. Bye.
Everybody needs to just stay safe.
Well, I keep saying the worst of this looks like it's north, but there are pockets all over the place.
Yes.
So, yes, the biggest area is north, but it doesn't matter really where you are. You're going to get something.
Yeah. Well, stay safe. God be with you, and be smart. I just got a text from Mark Cox in O'Fallon, Missouri, and there is some hail coming down in O'Fallon, according to Mark Cox's video off his back porch. Yes, just stay safe. Be smart. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Definitely
Annie
don't
right now.
do anything that Ryan would do.
Don't do anything I would do.
Yeah, don't go stare out and shake your fist at the sky. Get
Yeah.
yourself in the basement and just chill out there until the storm passes. We're praying for you. Pray for our safety here as well. And we're going to hand it over to the Mark Reardon Show next. Don't go away.
Roll, turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart. So beat the drum.
This Memorial Day weekend, bring your crew to Busch Stadium to see the Cardinals take on the D-backs. May 23rd to the 25th, catch great promotions all weekend long, including a Mason Win bobblehead and a Kid City Connect jersey giveaway. Kick off your summer with ballpark hot dogs, ice-cold beers, and entertainment for the whole family. Tickets are available at Cardinals.com. This is how summer is meant to be. See you at the ballpark.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Catch a Cardinals game on your next date night or friends night out.
Whether it's love in the stands or laughter with your crew, nothing beats ballpark vibes under the lights. Cold drinks, great eats, and Cardinals baseball. Check out Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium and enjoy happy hour price food and drinks all game long. Every Friday home game. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com and make memories that go beyond the scoreboard. Busch Stadium, where great nights begin.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket